1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2. We at it again, man. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to you. Let's get it. Ready for the next breakdown. Mm-hmm. 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 Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your host, Ace World, aka Mr. Smoke himself. Welcome to another exciting episode of Sunday Night Smoke Podcast. This is a Monday edition, y'all. And let's see. We're gonna because it's a special occasion. We got elections, we got mids coming up. We're gonna do this State of the Black Union address right now, okay? I know this is a kind of a rant. It's kind of an open panel. It's a combination of many things. Let's see where to start. State of the Black Union address. We got a lot going on in the community. A lot going on that needs to be addressed by us as a people. You know, I just got to get this off. Seems like every time you turn around, something's going on in the community. Uh, in the black community, that is. Um, Somebody's being shot, famous, whether infamous. We're gonna just chop it up in general about a lot of stuff going on in the community. I'll start with, let's see, let's address some of the major issues. I don't really have the bullet points in front of me. I'm freestyling, but there's a lot of things we can go through, man. Tony D in the building, checking in for work. What's good, my brother? Salute to you. This should be some good listening material. Kind of a rant, but kind of a dialogue, man. Like, what are we doing in the community? A lot of disappointment, a lot of heartbreak. Of course, in the news, we have a few different things we'll cover. Kyrie Irving, uh, the rapper, Takeoff from Migos. A lot of stuff going on. We have elections coming up tomorrow, election day. So we'll cover a couple of things right now. I'm gonna start with let's take everything in order. How the things laid out. Let's start with last weekend, Halloween. Halloween, allegedly at a bowling party, bowling alley, there was shootout over who knows what. Because I'm not really, I read the stories and I see the news and stuff like that, but you don't really know what to believe. The real story usually come out later, but we can definitely know that somebody lost their life. The rapper by the name of Takeoff. Uh, all good, TD. Yeah, make moves, man. Wonderful world of the replay, my brother. You know how we do it. Yeah, get to work, get that bread. Let's continue being a productive member of the community. You know what I mean? Because we definitely have a lack of that. Uh, let's start with entertainment. Rest in peace to the family, everyone, all the friends, everything of Takeoff from the Migos. Uh, I wanna on a broader picture, because the story will unfold, like I said, but I want to start with let's talk about the check-in. Let's get right to it on this. Let's talk about the quote unquote check-in. Okay. For some strange reason, if you're an entertainer, if you're a black entertainer or you're a rapper, in the rap genre of music and you travel on tour in order to perform for audiences across the country, your fan base live, so they can enjoy the live performance of the album that they purchased, as well as you tour your album for more sales. Uh, in the black community, it seems like we have this quote unquote check in system. So, say for example, Smoke, Sunday Night Podcast, we the hottest rap group in town. We're touring the country. So, it's New York, from New York, man, East Coast. But we're going to do 4 cities. There's some underground code, from what I'm understanding, because I don't know nothing. This is called the check in. So, basically, if you're a black or a rap artist, okay, you need to quote unquote check in. I'm trying to figure the concept of this, right? Because I'm taking it from we need to do check in dummies. We need a check in for dummy rappers book. Okay, so if I'm the dumb rapper, I don't know that I have to check in. Okay, so let's say I go to the West Coast, I have to quote unquote check in with somebody. So the check in, I guess, is depending on where you go, you have to pay for protection from the local gangs. Okay, so that's the check in. Okay, but so that's black on black crime, extortion, fuckery, all that kind of bullshit that's related to that. Because, like, no disrespect to the gangs, but I'm not checking in because y'all don't know me, and I'm not making no money, so it ain't that serious. But if you're a seller or major artist, if you're black, you got to check in, right? So that's the big question in the community. Like, why don't Justin Bieber got to check in? Bruce Springsteen, the gangsters in the hood never told Bruce Springsteen, "Hey man, you got to check in before you come do a show here." What is it all about? What is the check-in? The check-in guarantees that nothing happens to you. So if you're a black artist or a black entertainer, you have to quote unquote check in. Okay. Because if you don't quote unquote check in, uh something can happen to you. You can be robbed, shot, killed, gangster shit, the black shit that's celebrated in the hood. You gotta check in, man. Bruce Springsteen, Paul McCartney, all of them never had to fucking why didn't they have to check in? Which is crazy. So why can't we just have equal equality check-ins? Like if you check in, like should it be all artists have to check in or no artist? I'm just saying. Because like for example, I remember when that thing went down with Rick Ross years back. He had some issues because he may have been using some symbolisms from you know, from some gangs. He made somebody that was doing the artwork for his record companies may have made a bad decision for his mixtape, put some symbolism up there that represented some people. And he pulled up in Detroit, I believe. He didn't check in because he had to pay royalties for using the symbolism that's represented by certain folks. And he couldn't do the show. And it was really odd. I don't have the clip, but it was really odd on YouTube that somebody, some type of politician or public official, or correct me, or maybe a pastor or some type of somebody in the community was like, these guys are coming into our communities. Like, for example, if you're an entertainer, you're coming into the neighborhood or the town and you're sucking the blood out of the community, was his quote. Like, they're coming into town and they're sucking the blood out of the community. Well, in all actuality, he's pretty much saying that you can't come to my town and make money without quote unquote checking in to be extorted by gang members, I guess is what the concept of that is. So if you don't check in, you could be shot, stabbed, murdered, killed, whatever, robbed, blah, blah, blah. You didn't check in, man, so you deserve to die. But I don't think that should be fair for just black artists, right? So why don't we play even all across the board? But I know why. Because, you know, I don't gotta say it. We all know why. You're scared to tell Paul McCartney to check in. You're scared to tell you're scared to tell, just name any artist of any other genre, of any other racial background to check in. You know what I mean? That's crazy to me, so, like, that's really wild. I don't really understand the concept of that, the check in, like, black on black crime, you're extorting your own folks, for some so-called celebrated individual to be saying you're sucking money out of the community. Hey, man, let's keep it fair all across the board because that's crazy to me. It's really wild, but I don't wanna keep touching on that. We're gonna move on. Anybody that joins, you can, chop it up. We'll talk about that. Welcome to voice your opinions as I'm going on. Tell me I'm right, tell 'em I'm wrong. But this is, let's see, let me bring this up right here. This right here is opinion radio, as we all know. Opinions are like assholes, everyone got one, so Imma just let mine shine. This is opinion radio as we know it, and I just gotta go in and address some of this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Um, so the check-in, I don't know, we're gonna go buy or sell the fucking check-in, man. I'm gonna sell the check-in. Unless you gangsters out there that are making these quote unquote artists check in, and if you don't check in, we're gonna rob, steal, or kill you, whatever, whatever. Make all the artists and all the entertainers check in. You know what I'm saying? Make the R&B artists check in. you know, make everybody check in. Make the heavy metal groups check in. If you really gangster, make everybody check in. Don't just pick on your own people because that's crazy. So that's a bad state that we in. So we're gonna run down some bad states of mind, I guess we call it. So you're only gonna make the black rappers check in and extort them when they come to town. But like I say, everybody else, every other major artist from every other genre, every other race could just come and quote unquote suck money out of their community, but they don't gotta quote unquote check in. So that's crazy. I mean, if it was real gangster, it'd be the other way around. But whatever, man. Let's move on. Please like, share, subscribe. Give me a thumbs down. Whatever, man. Talking Kyrie Irving next. What's happening with this stuff? We a little past the Kanye. We can circle back to that in the back end, but like it's really wild. Like if somebody else produces a documentary or something, it's airing on Amazon. Where was the smoke for Amazon, man? Where was it? There was no smoke for Amazon, but the smoke was for Kyrie. A lot of people like dumbfounded with that. Like, what was I don't know. So the company that's broadcasting it, right? So for example, you can't say a certain word. So if right now I was to come on and say, "Hey, I could explain what this documentary says," and say, "Hey, man, I believe everything," so they could report me to the YouTube police, and they can say, "Hey, Smoke, we're gonna take you down, man. Then you know you didn't messed up now, right? You know you didn't fucked up now, right?" But the company that actually has it up, that's playing it, doesn't receive any of that heat. That's crazy. So like if like it shouldn't be if you felt that strong about it, it shouldn't be available. The message shouldn't be available to where him, me, or anybody else could actually access it if people feel so strongly um feel so strongly against the material. Because like everybody likes, shares, and subscribes, man. People, content is out there. It's freedom of speech, I guess, if you look a certain way or whatever, or if you're from a certain background, or maybe I don't know, but like I guess if it's your boss, it's a bad look if your boss falls into that demographic. But that's kind of crazy to me too. Like if the community felt that outraged about it, they should probably address the parent company. I'm thinking maybe that would be a good idea. I don't know. I mean, Everybody's got opinions. Like I always say, that's just mine. But it just seems like reverse, like hustling backwards, I guess. I mean, like how, like for example, bring the heat to the distributor, the person that's making this viewable. If you feel offended, not by the viewers, because this is like watching a movie. The- A company puts out a movie, okay, for the public to see. If somebody from the public sees it and says, "Hey, man, check out this movie," or I believe that, you know, the viewer shouldn't be penalized. If anything, the distributor should they should say, "Hey, man, don't distribute this kind of stuff because whatever reason that you're trying to penalize the individual for watching it that has their comment on it." I don't know if that makes any common sense. That makes sense to you or me. I don't know. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know where we going with this. Where else we at in this state of Black Union address? Democrat, Republican, Independent. What are we voting? What are we doing here? Uh, do folks feel that a lot of folks have been grandfathered into the Democratic Party? Um, I don't know who gets what done. I think it's. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm in a Star Child in the house. What's up, sister? How you doing? Doing in the joint. We in the building. We in the building. I'm just on it right here. Chilling like a villain, sis. If you'd like to join, just in case, I'm gonna just throw that link. The link is in the chat room right here. Um, but like political, like what are we voting? What are we getting out of voting? I mean, these are just questions, general questions I asked. Like, is voting, does it really help? I mean, ultimately, and what kind of help are you looking for? Because we're divided. Like it seems like there are percentages, like all races have percentages of division amongst political parties, I would assume. Like say for example, but I think most other races uh that are quote unquote labeled, say as minorities, as a minority, if you're labeled as a minority, uh say like the Asian community, and I don't have numbers, I'm just talking, so don't quote me on nothing. And like I said, this is just opinion, so if you don't like it, turn the channel. It's just opinion, I'm just saying. So like if you're considered a minority, I think minorities that feel that they're in a system where they're minorities, they should kind of move as one. Okay. Um, like maybe the Asian community, they move as one. Like they have an Asian crime bill passed actually by the Biden administration. Asian crime bill. Like, so if you get into a fight with an Asian, it's just not like you got into a fight with Asian. It's no, this is a hate crime. Okay. I don't know how many hate crimes that have been committed against black people, like lynchings and stuff like that. But I think it outweighs. I'm thinking that. I'm thinking that black folks were hung, enslaved, and stuff like that way before there was a fight in the beauty supply store where somebody was fighting over a weave or something crazy like that. Like, so I think we need protection more than anybody. Maybe from ourselves, and that's a good point too. Like we need protection from ourselves, but there are plenty of black biased crimes committed, so we should have a crime bill actually. So for folks like the Asians, I'm just looking for equal opportunity right here, right? Because we do have skin in the game. Okay, look at our history here in the country. We have a little more skin in the game. I'm thinking. So if anything, we need to be protected because there's reparations, a lot of stuff not happening for us. So I think we need to possibly be protected because we've been grandfathered in, shall I say. Hold on, let me scroll down. We got somebody in right here. We got Star Child in the building. Let me add you to the stream. Star Child, what's good, sis? How you doing?
What up, though? How you be, Smoke?
Chilling. What up, though? What's goody? Salute the star
You know
child.
how I am. How you feel? How you be? All is well.
Oh, good. You sound crystal clear. Thank you for joining me.
Yes.
I'm just shooting the ish right now. Kind of like a rant,
Hmm.
kind of like a because we got elections coming up
Yes.
tomorrow. I'm just
Yep.
working through a lot of you know, working through some black stuff right now. Like where we at
Got
with
it.
that shit?
I heard you. I listened. I listened. I commented in the chat while I was waiting for you to pull me up. But
Sorry.
I have my own. Like
Let's talk. Yeah, what's up?
as a black woman, I mean, our issues are similar but also different from black men. But being a,
Talk
I
to us
will just
about
say,
that though. Give us talk to us about like we
it's
it's
a it's a
open.
it's a
We
different it's a different walk. You know what I mean? We're facing our bodies being taken over, no longer having the right to choose, and that affects my daughters, my nieces, my cousins more than me because I'm no longer of childbearing issue. Um, but for those young women who come behind me, it's a problem. Like if you can't even have access to a plan B because accidents and mistakes do happen, you can be as careful as you want to. But I'm looking at the repercussions for men and women,
for sure.
especially people of color. That's serious business right here.
For
Serious
sure.
business. And it's a violation as a woman, it's a violation as a people. And no offense to men, but if you can partake in the activity of producing children, but if you don't actually have to get them here, stand down. Stand all the way down.
Stand down. Sometimes it's hard to stand down when that soldier's sitting up.
But I'm talking about afterwards. I'm not talking about I'm talking about after when decisions have to be made.
For sure. Yep.
Um
Mhm.
and I also, you were talking about reparations. I
Let me just
have.
no, real quick, sis. Let me stay on that. Let me stay on that topic since we're here. Since you were talking about the
Mhm.
fellas. Let's talk responsibility fathers. Let's talk because we're talking about the
Oh,
whole
let's please. Oh my God, you touching on you going into tight water right here, Smoke.
hey man, listen, we're talking about accountability for
Yeah.
brothers and sisters, male,
Mhm.
female. We're talking about issues that affect our community and our
Mhm.
generations upcoming. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
let's talk about accountability for the brothers out there, man. We're living in a fatherless America. Okay.
Absolutely.
Um,
I am
like
raising. I am raising. I am a product. I will just put it out there. My daughter's father has been absentee by choice
that's
since
bullshit.
since pre since before she was even taking breaths of oxygen. You know what I'm saying?
Got you. And that's not a
And
good.
he said, I have a witness and receipts. And to this day, 14 years later, he's still angry and mad at me, talking about all I did was lie about being married. Bruh, that's major, dog.
Don't even.
That's
You know what it
major.
is? It's crazy. Don't give the world too much personal information, but fellas, it's a lot of
This,
man.
it's a lot
Go
of
ahead.
this. It's a
A
lot
lot
of me's.
man.
It's a
Continue.
lot of me's.
Yeah. Don't
You
give the world too much.
know,
They
well, no,
deserve.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that so that people understand these are the issues that women deal with and that women will not put voice to, and not putting our business in the street, but until they hear another woman say, and not a celebrity and not somebody with money, just a regular schmegular chick
Yep.
walking around out here say what she's probably dealing with in her life. Like Kimi always says, ain't nobody got a patent out here. Ain't nobody doing no extraordinary new under the sun type stuff.
Nothing
But
new.
because we don't talk about it and we don't open it, we don't shed no light on it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's a
Facts.
lot of women out here who turn into bitter betties, as I'm starting to call them, because they don't know how to parent. As much as we talk about absentee fathers, we need to talk about the mothers that are left to raise these kids because they are just as damaging, if not more so on some levels, than the daddies who walked away. But nobody wants to have that conversation in the black community because we immortalize mothers. But let's
True.
but let's keep it a band. Let's keep it a thou wow out here.
True.
you're letting women who are broken mentally and emotionally and spiritually be responsible for the mental and the emotions of children.
Yep. For the upbringing of the next generation.
You have
You raise
women
broken
who
kids. Hmm.
you have women who on paper have done everything quote unquote correct. They went to school, got the degree, doing everything they want to do, but at home they giving them kids the flux, and nobody will chin check them and tell them that as good as you are and as much as you've done, you can't be abusive to your children. And I'm not talking about physically, I'm talking about the things that we don't talk about but that we see, like micromanaging your children,
Hmm.
tiger managing your children to the point where your son functions as your son and your husband depending on how you feel and what kind of
Hmm.
man you have in your life on any given point in time, to the point where you're chastising your daughter for the very same behaviors that got you children instead of teaching her a different way, or not turning her sexuality into some kind of competition or
Your voice just went out. Can you hear me? Oh man, Star Child, I lost you. I think. Hold on. Your volume went down. Your mic went out, sis. Oh man. Hold on. I'm gonna just hang tight till you come back in. I'm not sure if you can hear me. I'm gonna keep you on the screen. You may want to check out and check back in, or just check your mic. Maybe your plug is loose or something, because you was definitely hitting some very good points. I'll continue until she comes back in. I'll kind of monkey branch of what she was saying. I think she was referring to the classic case of the. Okay, let me drop the link one more time. You can pop back in. She's referring to the classic case of the son husband, with a mother, like, you know, if at the time she's lacking a partner, the time the son is of age, the son becomes the husband. That's a problem in the community. But until she pulls back up, I'm gonna get on the deadbeat dads real quick until she pulls back up. Let's talk about these fathers, man. Fellas, we messing up the game. Fatherless America. If you have a whole gang of kids from a whole bunch of different women, uh, I'll use Nick Cannon for an example, right? Just to go to the extremist, somebody that has a lot of money. I'm just thinking he may not even have all the time to put in, to spread yourself so thin. It's like multi-man, okay, for example. And there are very few Nick Cannons in the world on this financial level, as far as you know, brothers in the States. We're talking average Joe. So say average Joe has 7 kids from 4 different women. Not a good look. Um, and it's not about financially. That's why I mentioned the Nick Cannon at first. It's not really about financial, but you have financially, you kind of want to have, a, I believe in, oh, I'm old school. I believe in marry before you carry. Okay. And I believe in the family unit if possible, and if you have children, um, I'm not saying, because me, I'm not the police. I'm not here to police anybody's lives, but you want to really have the unit together, so you don't have the disgruntled mother or the disgruntled father. If everybody's together, um, it helps the situation. It relieves the pressure off of folks. Go ahead, Star Child. You can pick up where
I'm
you.
sorry. I'm sorry. I lost
Good.
my connection. Yeah, but
Yeah,
no, I was just saying that
good.
I lost my train of thought. But basically, I was saying that as a parent, if you're raising your children singly, there's a lot of women who will turn all of that pain into problems for their kids later. Like I said, you have to be more mindful, and a lot of us will watch these cycles continue, and we won't say anything. We won't say anything. But as we were saying, disgruntled parents. Yeah, I mean, there's pain on both sides of the fence, and it's not like one pain outweighs the other. There's pain on both sides of the fence. I'm not talking about the absentee. I'm talking about just the loss of a family for whatever reason, as
Yep.
we're seeing in the media many times over. Um, Even in the Christian community, since you brought it up, I don't know if you're aware of who Willie Moore Jr. is. He's been a very big in the Christian world, and he denounced that him and his wife of 15 years are divorcing after years of therapy, counseling, and separation. They finally decided just to tap out. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? It's like it's not just happening
Mhm.
in
In the
it's
hood.
happening everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. For sure. Look at Tom Brady. I mean, well, he ain't black, so fuck you, Tom.
Well, I'm just saying, but well, okay,
Let's
we,
keep
we
it
could
black.
talk about, just the people that we don't
Of
see in
black.
mainstream. Yeah. Tia Mowry and her husband, Corey Hardrick, they were very low key as celebrities.
Copy.
Look at it. You know what I mean? It's just, um, but if you look at even the lifestyles that we see every day, um, it's a mess. It's a whole mess.
Relationships are complicated for sure. And I think it gets more complicated now than it may have been back in our great grandparents.
Oh,
These
absolutely.
change, situations
The
change,
lifestyle is different.
things,
The expectations are different. The access is different. Women are different. Men are different. We're
everything.
not in an agricultural scary, well, it's still scary, but we're not in an agricultural forced to survive together type
Yep.
world that our grandparents had to grow up in, and even our parents.
Well, I can say one thing. I do remember one stat that before, I guess it was the mid '60s. I guess before the Welfare Act and things like that, because certain things are strategically placed,
Of course.
um, to break down things, and
Of
what
course.
happens is the long term effects. These things, when things are put in place, you got to realize things are not put in place to have overnight effect. These
Nope.
things are to take effect to actually start being effective 10, 20, 30, 40 years
Absolutely.
down the line leading into the future. So, like, originally, before the mid '60s, statistically, black people were married to a higher percentage than
Of
all other
course.
folks in the country because we kind of depended on each other. We had unity. We also had to take segregation.
Women did not have access to money.
Besides that, I'm not even that comes further down the line. Just saying whether they had access to money or not, it was far and few in between. Because remember, the men were the breadwinners for the most
Of
part.
course. That's what I
Society,
was saying. Women marry
right?
because they need to be provided for.
Exactly.
Straight up.
But besides that, right?
Hmm.
Besides that, um, we were segregated from everyone else,
Very much so.
so we kind of needed each other as a whole,
Oh yeah.
as a race.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of was like, hey man, ain't nobody else rocking with us. We gotta rock with ourselves and hold ourselves down. And we were at our
Yeah.
strongest point. I won't say historically because before, different continents, different stuff going on before the separation of the plate and all of that. That's a whole nother story. I don't want to get deep with that, but I can just say this. In different places, um, you know, the people had to stick together because nobody else was messing
Absolutely.
with you at that time. So now that it's like, okay, oh, you can some other folks. So what that did is that kind of took some of the more affluent families away from the movement as a whole. You understand what
Of
I'm
course.
saying? So say, for example, you have
Yeah.
upper class, the whole social scale, but it's like whether
Mhm.
you're high on the scale or low on the scale, you're still
Yeah.
gonna associate with your people and your people only.
Of
But when
course.
the ability for people higher on the quote unquote financial social scale had the ability to mix with folks, they kind of ran out.
Yeah. You're talking about integration, and I used to think that my mother, who was a boomer and
Mhm,
grew up in this time of when integration was a thing, was
mhm,
happening like in real time for her.
mhm.
She said that she always, and I thought she was crazy at first until I see the effects of it as I got older. She always said integration was the worst thing that ever happened to us as a culture and a people. She
Yeah,
said because before integration happened, like you said, I'll just use the south side of Chicago where I grew up. It used to be a stronghold.
yes.
For everybody, educators, lawyers, teachers. It was also hood. but everybody lived in the same space. So everybody was responsible for everybody. So even if you had the single mom across on one end of the street, you also had Dr. So and so and lawyer and his wife over here, and the pastor and his and first lady on the same block. Like you said, everybody had to coexist. There was no separation despite the money or the title or the job. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
and everybody was responsible for everybody. There was no separation by neighborhood or by street. You had to coexist. It wasn't the sense of, well, I got mine, I can just go. No, the lawyers, the doctors, the teachers all had to coexist with the hood, with the hood, you know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, some had lot like, you may live on this side of
Mhm.
the place, and then you may have some people on this, but all in all, it was still a community. It was a
Yes, it
sense
was a
of
community. It wasn't the sense of my kids are
community.
better than yours. It wasn't the sense of I don't have nothing to do with what happened across the street yesterday.
No. Community raised the children, no. It takes
And
a
the
village.
community also raised each other because my mom would tell stories about how before domestic violence was existing, you would see and hear about couples and men, being but then the neighborhood will go be on the porch the next day like, yo, 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 let me
Yeah,
holler at you real quick.
for sure. We police our own neighborhood. That
Yeah.
was how it kinda worked, and that's how a village actually should work. That's like human
It
nature.
wasn't the sense of where you just see Leroy and Donna fighting every week. Nah, the men in the neighborhood would be like, Leroy, let me pull you up real quick. Of course, the women gonna go see about Donna, but you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying. She said it wasn't a sense of where whatever problems were happening in the neighborhood. It's not like now where you just turn your head and keep it moving. No,
exactly,
we
because
going we going to handle that.
everybody kinda like, it was a sense of community because the turnover was not so high, number 1.
Mm-mm.
Like, people moving in and out and all over the place. The turnover, it's like pretty much you live there, you're gonna be there for many, many
Mhm.
years, unless you migrate to another black neighborhood or a thing. So I guess in those times, you know, um, you
Yeah,
know, like people have always had the same problems over the years. Like people have always, no marriage was perfect, no relationship
of
was
course not.
perfect,
Ain't
divorces, all
nothing
this
new.
stuff happened. But as a whole, because we were, segregated from people.
Contained. Yeah, we were contained.
Exactly, like so and so. Jimmy and them own the supermarket. Yeah, they're rich. They're not rich, but they're well off because they own the supermarket. But me and you gotta go to the supermarket because that's our supermarket. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Jimmy and them played their role by keeping the supermarket popping. They got more money than me. I gotta go to work, but I gotta buy food from the supermarket. It was a contained community. I live over here because I don't make as much as them. They live over there, but we're still as a people a whole, and the
Mhm.
respect was there. And we weren't running around. The youth weren't running around killing each other and doing all the crazy stuff either. So
Mm-mm.
just
Yeah,
like I said,
and I
community
think
itself.
once we got access to things outside of that, and
Mhm.
that is what created the distance and the separation, and of course the
Yep.
the the culture, the difference, as you said, in the like I'll use like the Huxtables
Mhm.
versus the average people. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
once we were able to spread out and move around, we lost that sense of connection because now
Yep.
they're feeding us what they fed us because we were bred this way, materialism. So now they're feeding us all these material things and things to elevate that everybody just doesn't have access to, and that's just real.
Yep. But it's
And
psychology.
yeah, of
Mhm.
course. And so if they can keep us bound with materialism, which leads to division,
Mhm.
they've succeeded. But that's what they've wanted since because we're the only genetically engineered people on the face of the earth. So this is what they designed us for.
But put it like this, I look at it in different ways because in order to back when we had, before we were segregated, we kind of were self-contained to an
Hmm.
extent, community, and then you had any other black communities that flourished were either bombed, destroyed, flooded, burnt to the
Yep.
ground, XYZ.
Yeah.
Right. Uh, I look at it like, hmm, we could things like that could still happen because now we're making more than ever. maybe before the health crisis or whatever. Uh, we're making more. We have more opportunities. We have more millionaires, more um
Billionaires.
billionaires with a B, all of that good stuff, right?
Hmm.
Um, what's being pushed right now is like everybody wants to live the dream.
Of course.
Okay. So instead of us, we're doing it reverse. The images that are being put out there is like, listen, spend your money on this, spend your money on this, spend your money on that. They want you to spend your money on other things,
Hmm.
but then when you look at other people in other communities, they're not really
Doing that.
spending their money on the things that we in order to look
No,
like entertainers or celebrities.
of course not.
Um, they're doing things different. So, like, I think in order to get where other people are, we need to think like other people, right?
Absolutely.
Uh,
Like you can do the research on it because I know that you have it at the click of your fingers. I'm on my phone. There's a town in Georgia, a whole
okay,
town
okay.
in Georgia. It's not in the Atlanta area. That's you have to put that first before you go look for it. I don't know the name of it, but I remember seeing this about a year ago, and it's still for sale because I saw it. It's a whole town that has a library. It has infrastructure that's on sale for less than $5 million.
Really?
It's just
Oh man, I lost her again. You with me, Star Child? I think I'm. Oh man, hold on. Maybe I lost her. I think I lost the. I lost the thing.
Can you hear me?
All right, you're back. You're back. Yep, cool.
Okay.
Continue.
No,
You left.
but
You
there's a
dropped out
there's a
at 5 million. Mm-hmm.
yes, but it's on sale. It's a whole town in Georgia. It's not in the Atlanta area. It's somewhere in Georgia. It's not necessarily rural, but it's on sale for less than $5 million, and it has infrastructure.
Wow. So is it like abandoned? Like it was pop for? Like
It's
they
just it's just sitting there.
really?
Yes.
Somebody called Ti and Killer Mike. I don't know if they. Somebody
Yeah,
called somebody.
I
All right,
mean,
let's
but
get a black hood
how
popping.
come it would take of them? How come there's enough people that have enough equity to just, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, they own a lot of the city already.
I mean,
From
but
what I,
this is not the Atlanta area. This is outside of Atlanta. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? This is
Oh,
just land just sitting. Anybody can touch it. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And it's been sitting here for at least the last 2 years that I can remember seeing it. And I went and researched it, and it's still there. It's just sitting there. It has a library. It has infrastructure. And no, it's not in the Atlanta area, but I'm just saying, who cares?
it
If
doesn't
we're
matter.
talking about
No.
if we're talking about us as a people, and you said we have the ability now, and yes, we do, and we need to form strongholds, and people are talking about, well, how come we can't do another Black Wall Street? Well, we have the perfect example to do it right here. How come nobody won't touch it?
We have black billionaires with a B. Okay, so
Yeah.
say for example, like I mean, every
How about how about Robert how about Robert Smith, who paid off all of the whole entire class of Morehouse's student
student
loans?
loan.
You go
Yeah,
touch it.
yeah.
I
And
know you know people with money who can form a collective. You know what I'm saying?
facts. And it's and everything is
Oprah.
like think about investments, right? Like I guess
Yeah.
those that have the all of that money, they of course they invest in different things. But when you get to that level, a lot of people don't really care about uh the small fish like us anymore. They get to a certain
Yeah.
level. I mean, they'll throw a little
Yeah.
something here and there, and I don't speak for all because there are plenty of people that give back to charity. Don't
Of
quote me and
course.
give me a shitty soundbite.
I
Anybody
mean, Killer Mike and Ti are very good examples. They have collectively
on a lot of shit. Mhm.
almost bought back the West Side. Have almost bought back their hood. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, they own a
And just
lot.
and just and just and just and just sitting on it. Like Ti just finished his housing development. Um, Killer Mike is doing some other work to create a foundation and start a school
Mhm.
because Ti just made the housing development. Now they want a school to feed into the housing. I mean, I get that, but why does it have to be in an established place like in Atlanta if you really want to do a thing? You know what I mean?
Copy, copy. I'm sure there's financial benefits to what they're doing because everybody that
Absolutely.
invests. I'm just saying everybody that invests wants to get some kind of return, but some people are not really I don't want to go on a limb and say, some people. I don't know. I'm not a real estate investor. I don't know how that
Yeah.
works. I can just leave it at that. But I mean, just for all of the like black
I'm
people
not
for
either. I would have to get another one of my sisters who is one to explain that. But when
Mhm.
you mentioned something, you touched something about reparations too, and I've
Let's
been
jump on
hearing a lot.
that. Let's
I've
talk.
been hearing a lot about reparations, and I know California is leading the way, and we
Uh,
both know that California and New York tend to push law in the country.
oh
So
yeah.
if California starts to spearhead it, I'm sure it will catch more on fire. But then you have idiots like Herschel Walker. Oh my God.
The blockers.
How did this man get political office? Smoke, have you heard this Negro talk?
I've kind of been. I'm not gonna lie. I just kind of. I've been on the road for a couple of seconds. I haven't been really keeping up with things. I just kind of touched back in the states earlier
Ooh,
this
I know, I
afternoon.
know, I know you've been all around the world. You know what I'm saying? We
Never,
we see
never.
you
I'm
out
not
here,
trying to
Smoke.
say that. I'm not trying to say that, but I'm just saying that I haven't really been keeping up. Even before I left, I was kind of trying to busy working on the project, so I kind of haven't been
Mhm.
keeping um tabs to what's going. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
just it's really neither here nor there, but it's like, with reparations, I do
Talk to me.
understand,
What
and
did
I
he have to say?
feel.
Just shoot a dart at. Put it out there. What's he talking about?
Oh, Herschel
What's Herschel
Walker,
Walker talking about?
he's
Like,
just a very divisive.
hmm.
He's like, okay, for lack of better words, he's like he's like Uncle Ruckus in real time. No, for real.
I hear you. Go ahead. Okay, that's how
Kim,
it
you
comes
you
off.
heard he's like Uncle Ruckus in real life. He's like in real time.
Okay.
He's like Uncle Ruckus, like, and then to have his own children who are biracial say that he's a. I can't say. I'm not gonna. He's a
Go
stand-up
ahead. Be
guy.
uncut. Be uncut radio. Who that in the back? That's Kimmy.
Yes, that's Kimi Kali.
Salute to Kimmy Kali in the building. Say it, goddamn it. This Sunday night smoke. We pull no punches. It's a Monday edition. We don't give a
For
fuck.
his own kids to call him a fuck nigga. Yeah, yeah, that part. Yeah,
Just saying.
yeah. Oh, that speaks volumes. And his kids are biracial.
This gangster. I mean, they
Gangster
know
for
him best.
real.
I guess they know him best because they
His own son went on a rant on Twitter and said, "You left my mama for somebody else. You ain't been a daddy. You ain't been shit. How
mm,
dare you speak for black people?" He said, "You don't even fuck with black people."
oh shit. So wait, he's the he's championed has he championed himself like I'm gonna represent the brothers
He's
and
he he is like a more attractive version of Uncle Ruckus, but he sounds like Mushmouth from Fat Albert in the Gang.
oh man.
Okay.
Damn. Sometimes you gotta just as an athlete, just stay retired. Don't go into politics. Just
I
lay
think he
low.
had. I think no. But here's the thing: he's been being controlled since he was in high school
For sure.
by white majority. He came out the country. The big stereotypical big black buck could run and haul a football, hit people. He's been letting white men tell him how to live his life since before he had. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But to have him be a voice, but a very ew. No way. And to be so and to be so staunch and steadfast as about why reparations are not necessary.
That's insane. No
It
such thing as
is.
that. That's totally I mean, why not? I mean, I just don't
Let me
get it.
tell you something. If Asians, and this is nothing against Asians, I'm used to Asian
Talk
as a
about it.
whole. I'm not going to decide between Chinese, Japanese. If Asians can get reparations just for being put in camps just for a couple few years, no offense to the Asians.
Yeah. 400 years is a lot of time.
You know what I mean? 400 years beats 5 in a cage, dog.
That it sure do. Because if I had to do a sentence, I'm gonna take Yo, smoke, you could do 400 hard labor and make other families rich. So by the time your generations get there, they have
So
a
literally, your blood is in this ground
no
right
more.
here, but we ain't gonna give you nothing.
Yeah,
but a
yeah.
hard time for the rest of your life and the rest of your kids' life into generations on end.
And
Really?
but you know what's crazy though, right? I look at it like,
Really?
times change, and thank God, like right now we have quote unquote opportunity, right? So I'm not gonna. I'm at the end of the day, the reparations I think is that some kind of payback would be cool. You know what I mean? I mean, right now we have opportunity. So in today's day and in today's day and age in society,
Let me
we
tell you
have
something.
somewhat of no, real quick.
Mhm.
Definitely reparations. Definitely reparations. That's a no-brainer. That's a
Mhm.
no-brainer. The playing field will probably never totally be equal, but
It can't.
due to a lot of laws, a lot of legislation, and people have really got their eyes on a lot of stuff right now. People are very more critical to things now. We have more opportunities in 2022 than we've had. And the more, so in 2025, we may have, depending on how the powers that be structure everything. Right now, we have opportunities, maybe more than ever. But we definitely have missed out on some opportunities. Our past generations have missed out on some opportunities. And I definitely, and any logical thinking person would definitely think that reparations in some form
Of course.
are definitely needed. That's a no
Absolutely.
that's a no-brainer, and I'm not trying to say because of my situation today, whatever. I mean, basically I was raised like, even in today's society, I was raised I had like back in the days I was raised I had with the mentality I had to work twice as hard just to get,
Absolutely.
you understand, I had to work twice as hard just to get the same,
Half of what they did. Yeah.
just to balance out.
Mhm.
So that gave me the work ethic all along, and, but at the same time, I've definitely been discriminated against, but
Of course.
I'm not trying to play victim, so we're gonna take
Mm-mm.
L's along our journey. We're gonna take L's, but when the door slams in your face, you take a L, you gotta keep moving. We just gotta be, uh, prepared to take more L's, and that's just the game that we gotta play in. But I can't throw in the towel. We gotta keep rocking and rolling and
Yeah.
keep rolling,
Yeah.
but definitely reparations are needed at the end of the
Oh,
day.
absolutely.
There's no way or form that this gentleman should be talking any foolishness like that.
But he
That
has been for years.
that's insane.
Years, Smoke.
Easy for a nigga with a bunch of money in the bank. Like, "Nah, I'm good. Hey, everybody else should be good too." Like, "Nah, bro. We
Do
put
you
our
know who
we put
else?
our
And
blood in this
it's
this
not
this
just
battle."
Herschel Walker.
I'm just saying, anybody that's saying that is insane. That's totally insane because other racial groups in other places in the world, whether Asian, Jewish, different people receive some forms of reparations
I feel like, and
a
let
lot
me tell you something.
of
Why is
times,
America paying Jews anything? The Holocaust didn't happen here, it happened in Europe.
which is really strange to me. That's the strangest thing about it. Like
Why
we're
is
paying
America
out
paying them? Why is America paying reparations for something that happened in Europe? We
we
didn't
were we
have
were
concentration camps here. We didn't have no gas ovens. We wasn't
we
we
were
wasn't
fighting
nuking children.
we were fighting to help stop that actually. And
And excuse
we
my
we failed.
insensitivity.
Go ahead,
I'm
talk
just
about it.
saying. But it didn't happen on American soil.
And we were fighting against it to stop it actually.
That's the reason why
So
America even got involved.
exactly. So I don't know why we fit the bill for it. We should have let
But you can't pay
Volkswagen
us though.
we should have let
Us,
Volkswagen and pay fit the bill for that. Or look, we should have let them Pfaffendugen fit the bill
you
for
know what
that.
I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know why we
Whatever. I will say this. I feel like if reparations are going to be talked about, then I am with you when there needs to be an anti-hate bill, since all of this anti-Semitism has come across the mainstream all of a sudden, and there needs to be some anti-black people law too, because the
yeah,
same thing that makes people anti-Semitic makes them not like black people too. I'm reading a book about it right now. If you're going to address one, you're going to have to address all.
exactly.
Did you
Everybody's
did,
gonna
did,
say for playing
the most recent case that they can make for it is at a University of Kentucky where that white girl attacked that black girl on camera, bit her and called her a nigga. Really?
Insane.
At a
Insane.
place of
That is a
learning.
hate crime.
At a place
That
of learning. The black girl was working at the desk in the dorm. She works in the dorm at like her work study job. The white chick was drunk, attacked her, bit her, and called her a nigga.
that's a hate crime. It's a
And
hate
they
crime.
and the University of Kentucky did have her arrested. She will probably lose her scholarship, but they say the white girl has a history of this kind of behavior at the university around campus. But she's been doing this for years. This is the first. Wait a minute.
She should be locked up. She should have not had the opportunity to do that because if it was either that girl, if the black girl that was the victim, okay, was
Yes.
Asian, if she was Asian, okay, I'm not even gonna say if the black girl attacked the Asian. If the white girl attacked an Asian in the same manner and gave Asian racial slurs, she would be locked up in jail for a long time because that would be considered that would fall under the Asian, like the hate crime
Yeah.
bill for Asians. So why can't we have that for blacks? And blacks have been hated
I
for
mean, for
hundreds
our children. And I understand that they say take the sting out the word and don't use it or whatever. It's the most easiest word to call a black person.
It's all
But for
about
her
the
to be that,
it's the attack. It's not even a
of course,
word. It's not even a word. It's about the attack. Because
you bit somebody's child.
think about this though. Think about this, sis. It's not even a slur being called because remember, for the Asian hate crime bill, there's nothing verbal. You understand what I'm
No.
saying? If a Chinese person, if an Asian person, and I'm warning them, don't try this shit at home. If an Asian person comes up to me and says, "Smoke, fuck you," and spits on me, and I whoop that ass, I'm gonna be charged. It'll be charged as a hate
Yeah,
crime.
it's a hate crime. It's a hate crime.
It can't be proven on video that this person, violent because that is a felony actually if you spit on someone.
I
Some
know it is.
like so if they can't prove that this person initiated it, or if the person punched me, slapped me, initiated any type of violence, and I fight them off and they get injured, I'm labeled as the bad guy and I go to jail for so I don't really know how the dynamics of it work out. I'm just throwing a hypothetical situation
Yes,
out of
I mean, but you're absolutely
really
right. But do you know what kind of crazy you gotta be to bite somebody willfully?
yeah, like you just really like that's crazy because you could actually draw blood and get blood from that person in your mouth.
But the
It's
human
really
mouth is
insane.
nasty. That girl gonna have to go have tetanus shots and stuff now.
Besides that, the biter has to be
Yes.
insane because if you're
Yes.
willing to sink your teeth into somebody like a vampire, you don't know what type of
Nasty.
health record is of the individual.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
if the individual has a deadly disease or something in their blood system, um,
COVID,
hello,
monkeypox, just regular stuff. Ugh,
HIV, anything from
nastiness.
the worst to the best, I'm good on the vampira. I'm just saying, sanguine buona. No necesito
But what kind
sangue.
of crazy you gotta be to bite somebody? And I couldn't have been that girl's mama.
I'm
I
just
couldn't have been
saying.
her mama. She couldn't have called me with that. She couldn't have called me.
Law.
Couldn't none of my kids call me with that.
Crazy. It's really crazy. Random Rick reviews in the building. What's up, man? Salute. Talking state of black union address.
I just don't understand why. I do understand why, but then again, I don't. Why they don't see our lives as necessary, and why white people, the majority, the caucasity of them, don't understand. Well, they do, but they don't take it to a level where there's like
Yeah,
we get attacked strictly for existing.
exactly. Exactly. But that's how it's been historically.
I understand. I mean, I get that
And
part,
it's insane.
but
It's
you know
really
what I
insane.
mean.
It's insane. But like I say, if anybody needs protection, be us.
It's us. We can't. I mean, we can without doing great harm to ourselves. We can't change our skin color. We can, even down to our hair. Like they got to make laws so we can wear braids to work. For real? For real?
Yeah. Like your hairstyle is inappropriate.
No, like just us existing is inappropriate. Like this is what our hair does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have to create laws so that black women and men now, or like the little boy down in Texas, they cut his dreads off. That
Well,
is so
for us,
disrespectful.
for the wrestling match years back. I don't know, it could be something different. Oh, they went to school
But
or
for
something,
little
but I remember
boys
it
and
was a
little girls,
wrestling match.
you know what I'm saying? Like our
Mhm.
hair is so irritating to you. They got to make laws for it.
That's really
Really?
wild. It's wild. I would say give a hair fund. If you want it to look a certain way, bless that cash
No.
app.
How about this? First off, first,
Bless that cash app. Because if your hair, hey man, you need a perm. Well, bless that cash app, damn it. And I may
well,
not want it. I
no.
spend the
How about
money.
this?
Go
First
ahead.
off, bitch, mind your business. As long as it's not dirty or stinky
Facts.
or distracting with color, or I can understand bobos and maybe about the color. I mean, I don't need you to come in around with.
Yeah, the green and all that is crazy. I think I lost your voice again. Go
Okay,
ahead,
you're
go ahead.
absolutely right, Kimmy. But I'm saying,
Mhm.
but as long as it's not, as long as it doesn't smell bad, and you're not dropping like critters out of it. And that's what I'm saying. And that's why I said it. You know, as long as you're not having them issues, mind your business.
Mind your business, lady. Fact.
Mind your business.
Fact. Mhm. It's really
Why
true.
does what my hair or what my kids' hair look got anything to do with you and what you got to do over there?
Sometimes they get irritated by the look. And I get it, 'cause sometimes I get irritated by their look also. But I can't no, what I say can't hold no weight, so I'm just gonna just leave it at that.
Yeah,
It's
I'm gonna keep it kosher and try to keep it, you know,
Go for it. No,
copacetic
we gully. We gully over here. We gully.
for the podcast. I'm not trying to, you know,
Never that. It's too
get
late.
you.
We've already gone. This is not monetized. Far from monetization. We keep this shit raw. It's the smoke, baby. You know what we do.
I understand. I get it, Smoke,
We
but
have the
I'm trying to.
conversations that are uncomfortable for motherfuckers. That's what we do over here. That's what
Okay.
we have the uncomfortable conversations.
So
That's what
what else is on your agenda to talk about the state? We talked about reparations. We talked about the black family a little bit. What else you got, Smoke?
let me finish with the deadbeat, the fucking deadbeats though. Let me
Oh,
talk
the
about
deadbeat daddies?
finish.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't finish. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Got
We're not just gonna brush over these niggas and let them slide. You know what I'm saying? Not
He
gonna do
said
that.
it, not me.
That's you damn right. It's your boy. So, and when I use the word for white folks out there listening, you know already, we're the only group that owns our own racial slur. We own the
Mm-hmm.
right. We own the right to our own racial. Chinese can't walk around and say, "Hey, what up, chink? What's good?"
No, we don't do that.
You know, they're not gonna say, "Yo, what up?" You know, all the other words. I'm not gonna go too crazy. You know, the Jews, any other
Mm-hmm.
racial slur, rednecks. What up, Krakow? What's good? Ain't shit, redneck. It's not really popping like that. So we own the exclusive rights to our own racial slur. So I want to shout out black folks that do that, amongst many other things. Let's talk about the deadbeat dads real quick. We're gonna brush over this one more time, fellas. Listen, man. Let's stop. Let's stop. I want to say let's stop with the cap. Okay. Let's use the cap, the stocking cap, the Jimmy cap, the Jimmy hat. Okay. Let's stop with the like for example, you know, like we gotta stop lying to the sisters out there, man. If we know we just looking to have some fun, start how we lost you, you know, let me one time you can pull back up. Everybody's trying to, get social, work on their social relations with the opposite sex and all that good stuff. But we gotta start practicing a lot more safe sex. We have to stop with the pregnancies, man. When you feel a tingle, I just give this is a public service announcement. Let me hold on. Let me drop this real quick. Public service announcement. Um let's talk about camping indoors with no sleeping bag. Okay. Fellas out there, this is a public service announcement, man. You would really pretty much wanna before you start all of this reaping and all of that, you wanna make sure you're in a good financial position before you start having children, before you start impregnating women that you know that you're not interested in pursuing relationships with. Fellas, you can't. You can't go raw dog, right? She get pregnant, and then you mad because she's like, "No, sir, I'm gonna carry the child." You can't get mad. So I understand certain situations, things happen, XYZ, but like when you can't really because here she go, you're participating in the process. You understand what I'm saying? So what I recommend you do, even if you got the strap on, the strap is you strapped up. When you feel that tingle, I want you to pull out anyway. Okay? Pull out any fucking way. You got the rubber on, you feel a tingle in your business. Pull out
Uh-huh.
it, bruh. Pull out. Pull out. With the rubber on. Keep it a band. Pull out with the joint on, and you're good.
Smoke, really?
Really? Is there something wrong with that? If you're not really that's the game. I'm giving free game.
Pull the
SNS
cord.
pull out regardless. Pull the fuck out. Like, what's the problem? Like, that's double, right? You got the bag on, and then you still you ain't gotta be like, "Oh, you ain't gotta have your whole hips thrust into her while you release." Pull your yo, back the fuck up, man. You know what I'm saying? Back up. Pull back. You feel that tingle? You feel that tingle, you know what I'm saying? It's time to, back up out of there, man. You good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't gotta do all that, you know.
Oh my God.
All that shit gonna do is
Smoke.
make you more that's gonna make you more sleepy. Speaking from a pro, nigga. I'm just saying. That's when to go on, goddammit. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference.
So you said when you feel the tingle, pull out, fellas. That's what you do?
Pull out, fellas. When this shit get real, that tingle get heavy, you already know what time it is. Kimmy Golly, you crazy, nasty. Which was come on, this is adult show here. I'm trying to prevent unwanted pregnancy in the community. You understand? Some folks are not ready to be parents yet, so we don't want
And that is all smoke, Kimmy. That got nothing to do with me. It got nothing to do with me. I said nothing.
yeah, keep it on smoke, nasty ass. That's not nasty at all, actually. I'm promoting safe sex, which is a good look, number 1. Number 2, I'm promoting unwanted pregnancy. So I'm
Oh.
actually trying to do some service in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like when you feel a tingle, pull the fuck out. Woman should swallow
So
more as well. Exactly, ladies, swallow more as well. Yes. But I'm just saying, I didn't say this. I'm just repeating the comments.
smoke. I'm not gonna go on this rabbit hole with you when
Don't
you
put
just said
that
that.
I
I'm not
posted
gonna do
that
that with you.
Look, I'm not going
Mm.
there. I posted that on the screen just to prove receipt that I didn't say that. I'm just going with the flow of the audience.
Oh, I'm
So I'm
just
just
saying.
trying to keep it safe in the hood
Mm-mm,
because brothers are not holding it down, man. These dudes are not holding shit down. We cannot
mm-mm.
have our women raising our children alone. It's a bad fucking look. You know what I'm saying? It's a bad look. You understand? I mean, sometimes relationships don't work, but for the most part, if you're not interested in raising a family with this lady, this woman, this girl, this young woman, let's be more responsible about what we doing with our meat. You know what I mean? Let's keep it real. So,
Yes, I have.
but
I have two sons who are in their mid to late 20s, and I could very well be a grandmother. At 46, I am not a grandmother because you want to know why? I taught them that. I said, if you are not prepared to be a daddy, then you think about it like this. I said, what looks good to you right now is not going to look good to you 10, 15 years later, okay? And you have to deal with that. So if you're not prepared and you don't see her as a potential being a part of your life for the next 18 to 20 years, I wouldn't do that.
sure,
Mm-mm.
sure, and it's about because remember, this is about community, man. We working together, brothers and sisters. We're working. We need more family units together in our community. Okay,
Hmm.
marriage is not for everybody. I understand, but let's because remember, we got to keep the family unit together because it helps
Hmm.
with the development of the child. Like you got mom, you got dad. Pop's
Hmm.
not a single dad. He's not stressed out. Mom's not a single mom. She's not stressed out because we got to keep it a band. In most of our households, we have to have two folks just to make ends meet. So we out there putting in hours. We putting in hard work. And,
Hmm.
and just like say for example, if you're a single father or a single mother, you may have to work harder, maybe pick up
You
another
do.
job or something.
You do.
But then at the same time, who's watching the kids? You understand what I'm saying? So we got to have balance to make sure the kids are properly supervised, make sure the homework is getting done. You know what I'm saying? We got to make sure we doing it and as a people, our responsibility starts in the household. We're gonna keep it a thousand. Accountability, responsibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we got to make sure our kids do good in school so they have a fair chance because the world is ultra competitive. Times are getting harder. The economy is tighter. We got to make sure our kids are competitive, man. We got to be able to compete with other folks that are just following a totally different blueprint that we are.
Yeah.
So if we take a step back and say, "Hey, man, we on the bottom of the barrel, or we on the bottom of the ladder," why is that? And if you look at other folks, they're following a different blueprint,
Because we're not focused on the right stuff.
not focused on the right shit.
Like my like my like my daughter, she's right now, when I last time I talked to her, my sister had found an academy for her, but they're gonna teach her financial literacy, coding,
Yeah,
all these things. She's 14.
coding is
They're
a
gonna start teaching her, yeah, and she's starting to understand about, we got her a green light card so that she understands how her money works,
yes,
stuff like that. So it's not
yeah,
like we're just giving her money. And also she had a job over the summer, so she understands the value of a coin.
yeah,
When you gotta go do some stuff that you don't wanna do. She was a junior camp counselor. I know that sounds juvenile, but when you have to build soft skills, which a lot of our kids don't know how to do, because she's not necessarily a people person and she really don't like kids. So we put her in an environment where she was totally uncomfortable, but she had to perform. You understand?
yep, exactly.
Go
And
get it.
Imma give her a shout out because that's another thing. Summer youth programs, okay, and, day camp counseling in the summertime and summer counseling in the summertime.
Mhm.
Because remember, we have to teach our children, not everybody's gonna be an entrepreneur.
Mm-mm.
You definitely wanna work towards that. But in case if you don't make that or you don't have that plan, we have to teach our children to get into the
Soft
workforce.
skills.
Soft skills, how to interact with people, because as times go on, we're living in a more internet, a more
Mhm.
virtual based world. So people are doing less in person and more communicating online. Okay.
Mhm.
So we have to make sure as humans, you don't lose the value of social skills, being able to
Just had
communicate
this
with
conversation the
real
other day.
in real
These kids
time
don't have it. They don't have it.
and exactly. So what that's definitely something we have to look at. Imma read this, from Kimmy. The village and the family unity has come back. We have wait, let me try this one more time. I messed that up. The village and the family unity has to come back. We have to forgive each
Mhm.
other, get some therapy. We need to come collectively together just to survive. We have to
Mhm.
pull monies together to survive, which is a fact. That's why the family unit is important, and Imma follow up half which, Kimmy says, Sister Kimmy. Financial literacy is vital for everyone's survival. Back in our days, um, we had home economics was offered in high
Mhm.
school, okay?
Yeah.
I don't believe that's available anymore because back in
Nope.
our days, they taught us financial literacy. They taught you how to cook, how to balance a budget, how to be, practical in the home. I don't know why nowadays the curriculum, these things are removed, well, I know why, but I'm not gonna make science behind it. But these things are critical, and these were things um that should be taught by parents actually, but back in the days in school, they say, "Hey, man, we're gonna let the parents we're gonna teach the children these things in school." So now we don't see those things in school anymore. Those have been replaced by, learning the rainbow and things like that. We used to have shop
They
class.
don't even teach kids how to write in cursive anymore, Smoke.
Are you serious?
Dead. What?
That
Yes.
doesn't exist anymore. Oh, man.
No.
I don't have small children, so I don't really
No,
understand
no,
how that
no. My
works.
daughter is 14. They stopped teaching her. I had to teach her. They don't teach you. They don't even teach kids how to write letters anymore.
That's this. Oh, because everybody's typing. Oh, wow. That is insane.
I
So
had to teach my daughter how to write in cursive.
cursive. Oh man, wow. I got my man Omar B in the crib in the house. Salute Omar. If you want to pull the ish, let's talk
Yeah, they
about it.
don't they don't
Boy,
they
man.
don't yeah, they don't teach cursive anymore. They don't do anything. Like I remember I'm the class of 94 and I remember when I
Okay.
believe it was my driver's ed teacher showed
Mhm.
us a debit card in 94. We were all like, "What the hell?" And he said in the next 3 to 5 years, this is where all your money is going to be.
Yeah.
And we did we,
Because
and we were looking at him like, "I know you, Lan."
and because
But I
remember, over
remember in 94, I remember 94, that was the first time I had ever seen a debit card because my teacher showed it to us. And he said, the next 3 to 5 years, this is where all your money is going to be.
yeah, because remember, think about this way back, right? Real quick on the spinoff. Um, the debit card, the direct deposit, all of this started.
Mhm,
Of course, it was planned in the '60s, but everything came to fruition in the '80s. Direct deposit has actually been around since pretty much, I believe the late '80s. Somebody could research it in the back if they like smoke you capping. But that's been since late '80s, early '90s from what I understand. If you're working for major companies where you can send your money directly to the bank, and at that point, it was unheard of because, the debit card really became popular, like you say, early '90s. I remember using my mom's debit card back in the early '90s, run to the bank. Not a debit card, but ATM, not I stand corrected, ATM card where you can check your balance and withdraw money
mhm.
from the bank. I was still small, so I didn't have a bank account, obviously, but my mom, "Okay, okay, go take $20 only and bring the receipt back so I can make sure you're not capping." Of course, capping wasn't used back then, but I'm just saying. That was like early '90s, say 91, I remember using that card first in the early '90s, and that's ATM card, not credit card, whatever, she let me get access to stuff before, but like that pull out cash out of a machine was definitely early '90s, maybe 91, 92 ish,
Mhm.
probably 91, maybe even 90, man, but whatever. Listen, neither here nor there, but back to the community, let's see what else we got in the community. Uh, let's just brush over Kanye West, okay? But
Oh,
we're going in a circle kind of. But when it comes to certain communities, you're not you can't be critical of certain communities, okay? Because then, they'll take your financial, try to penalize you financially.
mhm.
Um, yeah, Randall Rick Reviews real quick says, I'm gonna spin back to the Kanye. He says, I got my Discover card in the '90s. 3% interest rate. I remember when that punk ass Discover card first dropped. They had the world gas because it was something new. Everybody was used to Visa and Master, and when the Discover
Mhm.
card came, everybody was like, "Yeah." But Random Rick, Triple R, some people got lower rates, man. Your credit score may not have been high enough to get a lower rate. I'm just saying, no shade on you, because I see your collection is sick, and you've been doing reviews for a while, so you was paying 23% to get the collection right. So it's all good. I'm sure you pay less now. What's your rate still rock with Discover? Yeah, I was young at the time. Yeah, yeah, and that's another thing. In the community, right? Let me brush over something else real quick. I don't mean to spill a sauce. I don't want to give away the sauce. I was rocking with some of my Midwest homies. Shout out to Cincinnati Worldwide. I was rocking with some Midwest folks this weekend over early part last week. I don't want to spill a sauce, but here's an example, right? In our community, since we have a low graduation rate and all these other things for high school students, okay, stuff like that. Oh man, this is for our men, for the ladies that have sons out there, the young ladies that are raising boys out there. A
Mhm.
lot of us men, it comes to, it depends. I can't speak for all, but the fellas, young men coming up, we were not really interested in doing so much reading, 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 reading. It wasn't everybody's lane, okay? So if you have sons that are not interested in reading, 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 having their heads buried in the books all the time, they don't wanna be a doctor, they wanna be a lawyer. We gotta get our boys in the inner city into trade schools, okay? We gotta teach our boys how to become mechanics because the automobile we're buying 20 years from now or whatever is gonna need maintenance. Okay. Plumbing, no matter how long we live as a species, we're gonna want running plumbed water. Okay. Electrician, we're always gonna need lights. Okay. Carpentry, we're gonna need things built. Okay. Construction. Okay. Once again, we need things built. Masonry. Okay. We are always going to need things built. Okay. So for us in the inner city, for your sons and have daughters that not are really into the thing, like it doesn't discriminate. We're always gonna need iron workers. We're always gonna need welders. Okay. So if you have young boys that are not really into the books, but I'm not saying you're gonna learn this without reading, but they have on the job training, but it's you're not doing the paperwork and you're not like buried in the books because some people learn better by reading and some learn better with actually doing things and they retain the information better. So um, you know,
Hey, if you
I
I say
and
if your son wants to be the garbage man, let him be the garbage man because you're gonna
let him
always
do
need
that.
one of them.
These are essential jobs. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with being sanitation. I know guys that I live in New
Make
York.
bank,
Sanitation workers are making some paper. Wait till
bank.
winter time comes. And like I said, you got excellent benefits. There's nothing wrong with being a blue collar worker, and that's what I'm alluding to also. And open up real quick. Let's get our fellas. Let's get the boys. If you don't want to be a bookworm, okay. Let's learn some trades because you'd be surprised how much a master plumber can make $75 an hour.
An
That's
electrician.
that's pretty much equivalent to your doctor or some of the
Mhm.
lawyers, shall I say. Not a surgeon, but some
Mhm.
of the doctors and lawyers, electrician, okay, plumbing, okay. These are very high paying trades, but
Oh, I could tell
there's a
you another one. Coming from the South where it gets hella hot, like where the devil arises out of Hades himself. If
yeah,
you know how to
HVAC,
do anything, I'll say HVAC, you're gonna
yeah,
kill it, kill
HVAC,
the game.
refrigeration tech, HVAC tech,
Mhm.
air
Mhm.
condition tech.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
like let's keep it a band because I'm tired of seeing these other folks come to service things and I'm not seeing my folks. Like, are we not getting the message? Like, there are other options, you know. But then at the same time, here's another thing. Let's. This is a segue into the next chapter. Okay, since we're so stuck on this fake high class living thing, we have a lot of sisters that are like, looking down on blue collar jobs. The garbage man, he may not. Some of the sisters may look down on him, the garbage man, but they don't know he making paper though. You know, the electrician, the blue collar
They better
guy.
they better they better they better
Over the
act like they
guys,
know. They better act
over the
like they know.
entry level, you may not make money in the beginning, but it's a process, right? You got to build your way up, just like everything.
Mhm.
So, but I just, I see in the community, like, a lot of sisters want, the guy that's already established. Nobody wants to go with the journey, but that's part of the technology that's going on right now in our community because in every other community, okay, the underground, the underworld is not spotlighted to
Mm-mm.
where the people are reflected on a worldly scale as their underground. For example, what that means is this: as black people, we are looked at as reflected as TV portrays us. A
Mhm.
rapper, which is usually a drug dealer, or the hustler, the crook, the thief, because our underworld is constantly showed on media platforms to the entire world. They don't really show like before there's no balance. Before you had the Huxtables. Before you understand what I'm saying? Before you
Mhm.
had a different world, which was a spinoff. You had television shows where they will portray like, listen, you don't have to be this. So that may have been a move back.
Everybody hates Chris.
Everybody hates Chris. Like, hey man, I'm coming up as the nerd. because now it's so crazy that like the society we live in, and that's a part of the music because we'll spin off into that next. The music is poisonous. It's portraying a light. It's giving all of the music heroes, our top celebrity music heroes, portraying the role of fake drug dealers like a Rick Ross. I'm a fake. I'm pretending that I was the drug guy. All of this crazy
I'm like,
ish.
I was a kingpin. No, you weren't.
You're an
Cat.
entertainer, okay? But that's some. I'm just
I
using him
would
as an
say you
example.
were.
I like the
You
music.
were. You are.
I
That's
like
all.
the
Cat.
music, but I'm a grown man, so I can separate. I can differentiate the difference between entertainment and real life. But the problem is this: we're grown folks listening to the music, so I get it. I'm a grown man with a career. I understand. I'm not gonna go try to hustle because Ricky Rose said I'm hustling. For the young kid that's growing up and they're idolizing these entertainers, the message is very bad. The Nicki Minaj, the Cardi B, they're teaching our daughters to be over promiscuous. Okay, these are our heroes. They're teaching our daughters to be over promiscuous, to sell their bodies, to expose themselves, and to dress extremely provocatively. Think about this: the damaging effects that leads to. Okay, promiscuity amongst young teenagers leads to them having low self-esteem. Okay, so once you jump on the thought train, it's going to be hard to jump off. And the problem is, with the information going on in this society right now, the nerds, okay, let's say the nerds get a chance at the hot chick after she has 20 kids after she started out. A lot of times they say, this is what they say on the street. The nerds don't get a chance at the nice girl when he's studying. For some reason, all the girls like Fonz, like Fonzarelli in the Happy Days, even though
Hmm.
that's like the girls like the Fonz. They like the cool kid, and I get it because, but social media is turning our daughters into over promiscuosity or whatever the hell. I'm making up shit, right? I'm just saying
It's promiscuity.
promiscuity, promiscuosity, however the hell, tomato or tomato, promiscuity. It's not a good idea
You know
for
what?
the
I'm about to
hero
say it too.
Cardi B. Cardi B can't be our hero, is what I'm saying. Cardi B can't be our
No,
daughter's hero. It's not a good look.
no, I'm listening to you. I'm just letting you speak before I give
Yeah,
my.
jump into it because we need a Lauren Hill, goddamn it. We need the new where's the modern day Lauren Hill? Tell me.
Here's the
Where's the
problem.
modern day Lauren Hill telling Neil to keep the legs closed? Where is she?
Here's the
Please,
here's the
people,
here's the problem.
get
It's
it.
a chicken and egg situation. You have to understand where a lot of this came from.
Get it.
Um, you didn't start seeing over sexualized women being aggressive, all this city girls shit, city girls up, all this shit happening until their access to money changed.
Yep. True.
So, as long as women were being portrayed as the girlfriend or the wife of said drug dealer, you didn't see that. But once that changed, that visual changed, and the rhetoric for women changed, um, women who had a strong voice in our community, we're used to that. We all know a chick. I mean, I could be called one who has who's quick, who's quick with the mouth, slick mouth, gonna go hard in the paint. But those
Mhm.
women were not put into the forefront like they are now. The only difference is that now you got the girls with the slick mouth. Now they got money
And they naked.
or
That's the
access
problem.
or
They
access
have
or
money
access
though.
to or access to money without needing a man to to pave the way for that. You know what I mean?
But it's not about men paving the way. It's not
Well, I'm
about
saying it's an independent thing, and so what happens is that what is the easiest way for a woman to get attention? We talked about this before on one of the podcasts. A woman
yep.
is never going to get empowered through her body, but that's the only thing that's going to get a man's attention in a patriarchal society.
True. True. Facts. And that's the crazy thing about it though, because we kind of got bamboozled in a way. You know what I'm saying? Because
And
it
because
works in reverse because it's like, okay, the only way you're gonna be empowered is to show me something.
Of
And then you
course,
show me
but
something, the nigga be
and
like, "Psych."
in our community,
Right.
in the Black community, it's worse than that because as Black women, if you are a certain way, there's so many double standards for us. Like you can't be smart and pretty and
You
still be.
can. You
But
can be smart,
I'm about to.
pretty,
Well, let me finish. You
keep your
can't be
clothes on.
smart. Okay. I'm just trying to tell you. The
Mhm.
popularity thing goes the same ways for chicks too. You can't be smart, pretty, and all these things. The cool girl was not the chick with the glasses and her head in the book. The cool girl was the one who was out there hood rat, hoochie. That's the dude. That's the girl. All the dudes was looking at.
You know what? And this is where the balance comes in, because at the same time,
They wasn't checking for old girl in the library.
you know what? But that's where the balance comes in, because the nerd that the thotty, the hot mama wasn't checking for, he was in the library, and I hope and we gotta keep depending on more sisters and more brothers to be in the library, right? Because they're made for each other. Those are the people that are gonna make the difference and become productive members in our society down the line. Okay. So they're made for each other, because the guy that put in the work in the library for all those years, he doesn't need the girl that ran the streets until she was 35 and said, "Hey man, I want Poindexter now." No, you don't deserve him, because he put the work in. You didn't. So hopefully that guy finds that girl, because that's what's gonna make our people survive and strive ultimately. Because all of this toxic, negative, crazy-ish, all of the city girls, all this, that's not gonna lead to none unwanted pregnancies, more F boys, making babies and running and not being responsible, and deadbeat dads and single moms. The whole cycle is going to continue. Like Omar Best says in his chat, the power brokers in the entertainment industries don't sign or promote the positive
No, they don't.
entertainers. Exactly. Because they want us to vibe, feel, idolize all the negativity, all the
You don't
gangstery,
see
all the
Jasmine Sullivan getting touted the way Cardi does.
exactly. Because you know why? Because they wanna turn our daughters into unmarriable women, whereas there are no family structures. You understand what I'm saying? It's all
Of
part of
course.
a diabolical plan to make our people fall off of focus. So there are a whole bunch of several factors that fall into it. The welfare, the this, the that, the quote unquote boss bitch,
They have to
the dead
keep us
deadbeat
blinded by
dad.
materialism
Yes, the
and
deadbeat dad.
contained.
The quote unquote pimp, "Yo, I'm pimping." All of that bullshit is what kinda actually,
Yeah.
keeps us down, keeps us off balance, and if we wanna win, ultimately, we just gotta follow the blueprint of the people that are winning. It's so easy. Look at what the winners are doing. They're getting up early, they're working hard, they're getting to the square, they're keeping focused, they're keeping discipline, they're not spending money frivolously on bullshit to impress other people that don't have shit, or to compete with people that have.
That
No,
don't have
because
shit either.
I wanna be exactly, because I wanna have this look. Hey, man, it could be so better down the line if we just zero in and focus and stop thinking about that. Like I go to places and I see people that don't have anything, happy and working hard and striving to do better, not just like living in this fantasy land. Like, hey, man, I wouldn't dare talk to you watch on the internet. I wouldn't take a guy seriously that makes 40 grand. You need to have half of them are just capping, because they know
What?
if they like the guy. I mean, half of that stuff is just cap that you see on the internet, people saying,
Well, I
ladies
know.
and
Here's the
the
thing.
wars. They just capping. I wouldn't do this.
Since you want to talk about that, let's talk about collective economics. A lot of other
Come on.
cultures believe in collective economics way more than we do. How
Yep.
come you can't all live in a four-bedroom house and all your people be there? Okay, I get it. You want your privacy, you want to be independent and shit. But guess what? You do that shit on a weekend or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You
But see,
go
that's the thing.
when you don't leave the home until you actually marry. And a lot of the times, if you marrying somebody, they gonna come and live in that motherfucker with you.
Dependent, exactly. And let me shout you out on that. A lot of times you look around and see, hey man, the immigrants live like this. You got a house full of
Yes,
Asians, a house full of Mexicans, a house full of Jamaicans. But you know what?
Asians.
Collective economics. They'll come in. They'll split up the house. They'll do this and the other. But us as a people, we do things differently. We'll say, "Hey,
Everybody
man,
wants to be so
everybody's
independent.
like, I
Everybody
want
wants
to
to get it on their own. But
get,
how is that working for us though?
well, it's not working because
Nothing.
we don't own we,
Shit.
we don't own houses and stuff like that.
But I'm just
So
saying,
what
but
I'm
how is that
saying,
working for you? Most people that I know that are so independent are are one paycheck away from losing every goddamn thing.
from an L, because they got the new Beamer, they got the mortgage and all that stuff, just to be like, listen, I
Yeah.
have this, I don't need
They
this.
not even with the Beamer. It's just a
Yeah,
regular ass rent, a regular
exactly.
ass car, just regular bills.
And that's the average American is living check to check, paycheck to paycheck. But
So
when they
how come
fall
if
in,
you have a two-bedroom apartment and it's just your only single black self living in it, let your sister or somebody who's doing the same shit come live in that bitch with you. Y'all figure that shit out.
split the money,
It's
XYZ.
not
But
like
remember,
it ain't, and even if you have a boyfriend or whatever, can't y'all screw in the bedroom like normal people? Why you gotta be fucking around the house anyway? You
exactly,
know
but
what
you
I'm
gotta look at
saying?
it like this. But everybody is looking at the celebrities and they're gauging
And
themselves like, I want more.
if you have
I
a
wanna
significant other and he or she is not coexisting in your house with you, then what goes on in your house got nothing to do with them anyway. They're visiting anyway.
for the most part, yeah. But
So
like you say, it's
but
economic responsibility
like
and
I'm just
stuff.
saying, we our culture is so dumb. It's like when you hear I'm too old to be having a roommate. Well, can you afford can you afford the bills without one, bitch? I bet you can't. I bet you
And
can't.
if you can, and even if you can, could you
Why
do
should you?
everything? I mean, why should you? But ultimately, when you're doing all of that, can you save money all at
No,
the
you
same
can't.
time? You know what I'm saying? Can you
Or
save
and if both of
money?
you are single with children, and let's say you have a sister, I have sisters who have kids. If all of your kids are around the same age, and both of y'all are single mamas, what? Why
Exactly.
are you struggling with daycare
Collect
bills when there's two of
collective
y'all?
collectively, exactly. Look, we gotta learn to
One adult's at the house at
coexist.
all times, right?
Yep,
So how come you all can't coexist and make it easier on you and the kids?
exactly. Because look, think about it, right? Think about it. We're not doing what other folks are doing, that's why we're gonna keep
Crazy.
losing,
What the hell?
and that's when the grow
What the
on.
hell?
I'm just saying, hey, that's the message. The message is in the is the message is right there for everybody to see. You wanna win, do what the winners are doing, but as a collective, use your head. Use your
You know
head.
what I mean?
Let's stop stunting and fronting. Oh, man. Yeah, we got a long way to go, man. We got a long way to go, and we
When somebody says, "Yeah, well, me and my sister live together," it shouldn't be no. Well, damn, bitch,
that's
how the
cool.
fuck is you living?
I look at it as, hey, man, hey, that's cool because everybody's situation different. But like I say, we have to put on a show. Everybody has to try to pretend that it's more, and that's what keeps us behind because we're idolizing entertainers and trying to look and trying to do things like it's, everybody got to learn, stay in your lane, be humble. Don't do too much, man. It's not really worth it. Don't do too much, but also our mentality is like we don't have a stick together mentality. We're living under
Yeah.
this we living in this whole fake, it's like a separate chapter. We live in like in a different whole different mental realm than all other folks. It's really
We're,
strange to me. It's really
we do things that are very counterintuitive to success
weird.
and counterintuitive to success or productivity because I don't understand even at my age, I'm a Gen Xer. At my age, I don't see what the big deal is if you meet somebody and they have a roommate or they living with their cousin or their brother or whoever they living with, at least they got some keys and somewhere to rest their damn head, okay?
Facts.
Like,
Facts. Oh,
what
you
is
ain't
the
got your
problem
own
here?
place? I ain't messing with you. Like, oh, really? Okay. Fuck it.
You
It's
know?
just
So you living at home and you might not have a car. Guess what? It be like that sometimes.
that's the facts of life. That's how
You know
life
what I'm saying?
works. But like
But if you're living in a situation where two out of the other like at least two of the three or four people that live in that house have a car, do you really need to have a bill?
you really don't. if you're living collectively, and like we
Yeah,
don't really go by that. We don't really, we don't
kick it like.
flow like at times. We
And if I really need to get around, that's what Uber and Lyft is for, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I recommend, let me tell you, in order to save money, because it's all about saving because it always rains. If you can get in a position where you can take maybe, if you can, like, if you work local, you work close, you may not need a car, don't. If y'all can carpool, do it because the
You know what
economy
I
is
mean?
only going to get worse. The economy, I hate to say it, the economy is going to get worse. Times are hard. The economy, like, you don't really need 10 pairs of Jordans. You don't really need all that.
No, you don't.
Because yeah, let's not overdo it. You know what I mean? Let's not overdo it. Try to stay in the
And
means and
really,
everything.
who's really out here kicking it like that, Smoke? For real. Like for real, for real.
Nobody, not really. It's not the 90s. Like that was 90s. Before the internet, you had to do all that in person. So if you wanted to be all, like
Like
whatever,
who's
it's
really
not that.
doing all that? Like ever since quarantine, have we
Yeah.
really stopped going? Have we really not left our houses? Like we really don't go. We still ain't really been outside nowhere.
Some people, tried to recapture the magic, but I
No,
can't
it's
front,
over with.
man. I think it's a
Quarantine killed it. Quarantine killed that.
and that was a reset. That's a reset. So now we're moving into the digital era where it's like, ooh,
Like,
we're
is
doing
people
different
really
things.
outside like that, Smoke? Come on now, tell the truth. Is people really outside like that? No.
A little bit. I can't front. I can't cap. A little bit. The young, because we Gen X. So the 40 and above crowd may not be, but if people are still in their
Okay,
20s, they still
youngins, youngins, of course. They gonna do what youngins do. I'm talking about
yeah.
us. I'm like, people are.
Oh,
Is we really
oh,
outside like that?
Gen X is usually good. At this stage, Gen X, you have a few people on the move, but for the majority and over crowd, it's kind of what's the name? Kind of like I. Because remember, when you get to a
I'm
certain
good.
age, I don't think how I think when I was 20, at this age, I
No,
think different. So I'm thinking, end game, long range, when you're younger, you don't think that
me
far.
too.
Some
And
people
I'm
do.
and I'm
I don't wanna I
single.
don't wanna cap. I don't wanna cap, but,
You know what I'm
you
saying?
gotta
And
think.
you're in a relationship, and especially for a single Gen Xer like myself, I'm not even really trying to kick it like you face to face. I mean, I don't even. I'm over the whole dating thing. It's like, you know what?
Hard as fuck. Mhm.
I'm like, and that's sad too. It's like you have to date in order to meet people. You have to go outside, but I'm not really motivated, dog.
You know what?
You can miss me on all that.
Well, at a certain age, like, after it becomes complicated, you know what I mean? Because, like,
I don't want to go eat with you. I don't want to go to. And who's going to the movies? Movies are expensive. My
no,
no.
but look, it's up to, but, I mean, if he offers you to take a date, if he listen, for example, if I say, "Hey, Star Child, let's go to the movies," it's on me. Because anybody that invites you somewhere, usually, you know, you may have to iron out the details, but for the most part, hey man, if I invite you somewhere, I'm gonna
Of
cover you.
course I'm going. I mean, of
And
course.
dating is not as what it used to be. Dating is not
No,
what it
it's
used to
not. And so it's like at this so for a single person of like a single Gen Xer right now, you know how we flow smoke. It's like, I'm
be.
good. I'm good.
Yeah, like I'm good on that, and I get it, and I totally get it. But you know what though? Ultimately though, but it shouldn't be that way because like the divorce rate is high in our community. You know what I mean? It's just like man,
You
it's
can't even
like
you
it's
can't even get to the marriage part. You wanna know why? Because like
yeah,
Omar said in the comments, emotional intelligence is at an all-time low on both sides of the fence.
for sure, for sure. So it's like, man, what we doing with this shit?
It's like
Uh,
emotional. Look, I'm going to love him and feed him and call him George. No, we're not doing that out here. It's like emotional intelligence is at an all-time low on both sides of the fence. And I'm tired of all these so-called internet gurus and podcasters spitting this hostile, finger pointing, butt hurt ass rhetoric, men
yeah,
and women, about all
battle of
this about
sexes.
all this
Yeah. Mhm,
nonsense. It's
mhm.
chauvinistic, narcissistic on both sides of the fence. It doesn't serve men or women any good because
Not in our
now
I'm
you
telling
have us at war with each other. You can't
you.
even get in the dating pool because both of us got our AKs out ready to shoot some. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which really blows, and that'll date back to, on the channel about a couple of months ago when we did the, Dating Game Is All Fucked Up, podcast.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's terrible, and it's like,
It makes you
The
distrustful. It makes you distrustful of each other. You can't even get to the dating. You can't even get to anything because they made it so adversarial. And I don't understand, like, even regular schmegular people out here. I'm not talking about celebrities, regular schmegular ass people out here.
uh-huh.
Now they using all these words because they done watching all these stupid motherfuckers with podcasts who who can't date their way out of a paper bag, much less go on a regular ass date. Your dating record is trash, sir, ma'am. Sir,
Oh,
ma'am, your dating record is trash. All you collected is bodies and babies.
facts.
Really?
Oh hell no.
I'm gonna tell you, keep it a band, and I'm gonna give you applause on that because,
All
like,
you got to show for that is bodies and babies out here. But you want to tell me what's wrong with me and why I'm fucked up and why my emotional shit is fucked up, my dating preferences and choices. If you don't go kiss the entire crack of my ass, how about
two
that?
times.
Yes, 2 times, back and forth.
But it's crazy because if you look up and down the tube, and that's another thing. I'm gonna just go over that whole statement. Boom. In our community, it's like we're at the battle of the sexes. Okay. Like the sisters are like, hey man, your brother step it up. Or I'm a boss be the other. I'm not being what you call
I'm
that?
not. Look, here's the thing. I'm not
Submissive.
settling. Bitch,
I'm
shut the
not gonna
fuck up.
settle.
Yes, you are.
But a lot of dudes, look, but a lot of dudes also at the same time, I'm not gonna front. The women are the gatekeeper of the sex, right? Like in as far as the relationship, you ultimately have to choose the guy. Like, and the guys are gonna shoot their shot. Some will, some won't. Some are not
Let me tell
qualified,
you.
obviously. A lot of guys are not qualified. A lot of women are not
And let
qualified
me
for
tell
a
you
lot
what's going to happen since we're the
of
gatekeepers
okay.
of the sex. There's a whole lot of women out here busting it open for good morning
I
texts
get
and
it.
inconsistent communication. Okay.
I get it. But listen, I'm just saying, listen, but that's not that Dexter with the good job. That's a nerd that's wearing the fucking straps that looking like Steve Urkel. He gets no play until later when she's tired of busting it open. Then it's time to settle down. Where you at, Steve Urkel? I love you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have to be what's the word I'm looking for? Attraction is everything. We're physical creatures, men and women. He's hot, she's hot. You know what I'm saying? So it works like that. So sometimes, we don't choose what's best for us. We choose what looks best for us. And I get it because that's human nature. You understand what I
Mhm.
mean? It's human nature. But for the
That's what
ladies,
Michael
it's up
Jackson
to
told
you.
us.
It's human nature. Why? Why? It's human nature. But it's
Yeah.
up to us to school our daughters. Listen,
Tell
Papa
them.
Fonzarelli or whoever the fucking the rapper with the tattooed face, this nigga, he's not good for your life. You understand what
Who,
I'm
Kevin
saying?
Gates? Who
If
Kevin Gates?
no, 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 just anybody. I'm just talking about any,
Oh.
these niggas on the street saying all this crazy shit on the records, talking about shoot shit up. I'm a gang and fuck you, bitch. The dumb
Well,
niggas.
that's why we
They're not
lost
good for your
Takeoff at
daughter.
28.
They're not good for you. I'm just saying, exactly. That's not good for your daughter. And we got to let our daughter know that the rapper gangster is not good. Let's fuck with
You know
Point
what?
Dexter. Point Dexter is going to make good money, have a good job. He's smart. He's going to provide you and your family. He wants a family. He's going to be a good father.
Guess what?
All
How
right.
about
He
this?
don't got
Since you
swag.
want to
He
talk
ain't
about
got
that,
fucking swag, but he's got a fucking brain on his fucking shoulders.
let's
Okay. Go
segue
ahead.
into let's segue, since you want to bring that up. It doesn't even have
Let's
to be
go.
a Poindexter. Let's segue
I'm
into
just
the whole debate that irritates my spirit. Why are people mad at Sierra and Russell Wilson? Then people don't bother nobody. They are perfectly happy and thriving and shit. Leave Russell
exactly
and Sierra the fuck alone.
the thing that they always
Russell Russell
Mhm.
may not be a future, but guess what? Russell got a bag and a half. He takes
he's
care of his family. He loves his wife to fucking death. Okay? And loves the child that she brought with her.
exactly. But see, the problem is
Why
everyone
is he a square? What's
everyone
wrong with him
loves
for
the
choosing
rock,
her?
and I'm gonna tell you why. The black community, we think on a backwards level. Okay, think about this, right? Think about how we think backwards. Okay, for example, Russell. right? If Russell didn't play football, he could not get the girl that looked cute like Sierra. No. I'm not saying I'm attracted to men, but Russell is not an unattractive man.
Russell fine as hell. I'm a woman. I would say for
And
Russell
he's
fine
not
as
an
fuck. What you mean?
unattractive man. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying Russell is not an unattractive man. He may look as good as me, almost close, but
You know what? You know what, Smoke?
Russell
You
may
know what,
be
Smoke?
one.
Toot your own horn, goddamn it. Toot your own horn.
Russell may be a half point under me. He definitely doesn't have the charisma, the character, or the swag, and he almost equals the looks of me. He may have to hit the
Talk
gym a
your
little
shit,
more,
Smoke.
but
Talk your
I'm just
shit.
saying, me coming from the swag side and the nerd side, I'm coming from both ends. I really had sympathy coming up in the game because the game was kind of, I kind of had a good run when I was younger, but I represented the other half of the slate. So, for example, if I was one of the cool kids in school, I give the nerds dap, not because they're doing my homework, but because you have to have vision to realize what's good and what's bad. Okay. I may have been a gang leader. I may have ran the gang in high school. But when I see uh Jimmy with the Coke bottle glasses and all that, and he walking past the gang, I give Jimmy a pound and say, yo, this is my little son Jimmy right here. He in English class with me. If you see, you leave him alone. You understand what I'm saying? So I always had sympathy for the other half of the pack, being one of the quote unquote cool kids, because I was a cool kid and I was intellectual. But at the same time, you have to have balance. You know what I mean? So let's transition this back to the Russell Future thing. So say I was a Russell and a Future wrapped up in one. Everybody's on Ciara and Russell right now. Russell is a good guy, and he's what the community needs more of.
Mhm.
Okay. The Ciara, okay, they say, hey man, Ciara, I understand you're an entertainer, but for Russell's sake, you can't be embarrassing Russell. You can't embarrass my dude. They on them because Ciara acting up. They not criticizing. They're not in the spotlight and somebody always talking about them because Russell is in the strip club or Russell is busting it open or he
No,
walking
they're
around with
because
whatever.
they're
Let me
criticizing
finish.
because
Let me get it. Let me get it. Let me get it. A lot of people, I mean, they're criticizing because they say, Ciara, Russell's a lame. But
yeah,
Russell, right, he's what we need for our community. You understand? Look at
of
look at
course.
look at other races. Is anyone saying, "Hey, let's name hey, uh, let's Matt Stafford, his wife
Tom
is
Brady.
looking at their the Tom Brady. Nobody's looking at their relationship different, even though all the relationships are different. But in the black community, we're always celebritizing a little too much, this, that, and the other. But nobody talks a lot about if I think she needs to relax a little bit. She's a little too much twerking, the butt naked, the picture with the liquor bottle, all that. Man, that's not a good look because Russell is more of a clean cut guy. He's not walking around with tight pants on, showing a Woody print in
No, he's
pictures and
not.
stuff. He's not being sexually provocative like she continues
Okay.
to be. That's a bad look. And no straight against her because that's who she is. That's her. She's an entertainer. So sex sells as an entertainer or singer. I get it. Like this guy is on some super conservative, you know what I mean, stuff. So she can't be like once you cross over to the super conservative world, you made that man quote unquote wait and all this after the hood
That's
then
a
busted
that's
open
a
all that.
that's a mentality thing.
I get it.
Um,
I get it.
Kimmy just
I
said,
get it.
you tighten up when you married with kids. Beyonce and Jay, the same shit. But yeah, you don't
Enough.
see Beyonce. You don't see Beyonce out here. I
Naked.
mean, you see her out here when she needs to be out here when she's promoting a tour, she's doing an album. But you
She ain't
also see her,
still ain't
you
naked.
see her in a controlled environment.
Yes, she still ain't half naked. Exactly. And that's exactly what I'm getting at. Once you become the wife and you're the wife of this super clean cut cat,
Well, Jay ain't
like
super clean cut. She's just
no,
at a
no, no,
certain
no, no,
level.
no. I'm talking about Ciara and thing.
Mhm.
I'm talking about Ciara and thing. So thing Jay is we talk about an ex quote unquote, whether he's a liar or not, drug dealer, street hustler, killer, rapper, gangster, and his wife he's even not running around naked. So think about this, right? Because remember, that's a street nigga, quote unquote.
He
So
is.
right. So for example, right. That's the street nigga, and his wife is keeping it super classy and dressed. And then you got
Yeah,
the
they're
church,
doing. Yeah, they out here doing Tiffany campaigns.
and then you got the church guy who got a shorty that was, that's kind of looking like, man, she's still for the streets. What we doing with this? And I'm not saying that, but she's not keeping it tight enough. So that's why the scrutiny begins. But I respect the couple, and we need more people like Russ in the community, man. I clown Russ a little bit just
Talking about
because his
Sierra?
shorty ain't in check. But I need him to, we need more
I
Russells in
mean,
the community,
I look at
man.
it from both. I look at it from both perspectives. Maybe that's my diplomacy.
Yeah, no, go for it. I mean, no, I'm not shading her, but I mean, it seems like they're
Well, you
two very
are.
different people.
You are to a certain extent, and I see, but I see both sides of the argument, and that's one reason why people don't like to be like, oh God. But I see both sides of the fence. It's like, yes, I do agree. At some point, you have to grow up. When your situation and your circumstances change, you need to be able to flex, evolve along with them. You are no longer dating a Future or a Bow Wow or a 50. You don't have to. This is not where you are anymore. You have to elevate, and you have to flex and bend according to your environment. You've been fucking with Russ, now y'all 3 kids in. Let's ride. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? And I
no, level
totally
up.
agree.
Yeah, level up. That means cover
That's
cover up.
that's
Level
what
up
I'm
means
saying.
cover.
You're not running in these. You're absolutely right. You're not running in these circles. But
Yeah,
I also see the other side of the argument that says, this is who she was. This is who I am.
before. Hmm.
The other side of the argument. This is who
He took
she
her
is.
like
This is who
that.
I
Yeah,
am.
he took her
Yeah.
like that. Exactly. He took her like that.
But
So
I
that's
do
what he did.
agree. I do agree. I do agree with what you're saying. You ain't running around with Future and Bow and Fifth no more. This is not who you are. You've been elevated. You do have to elevate. You do have to mature. You do have to grow. So that just goes to her own sense of maturity and elevation in her mental and her mindset. And yes,
Yeah.
I don't think maybe because of her past, she does not understand that her behavior has a direct correlation to his reputation. Some women, it may not be making sense to her like it makes sense to us. You understand? It's a mindset.
True indeed. True indeed. I mean, because remember, she had her fame and fortune before him.
Young. She was
Right?
very, very young. Very
Yeah,
young.
she had her fame and fortune, but at the same time, right? You got to come in and think about it like this: his dollar value. She doesn't have to try to pursue
No, all she has to do is show the fuck up
fame.
and
She's
be
not selling
cute.
a million records no fucking more. That's a wrap.
No, all she has to do
Got
is show up and be cute with them babies and go, sing a little bit, do a TikTok every once in a while and go sit the fuck down somewhere.
just cover everything up. Do all the TikToks and stand up all over. Cover your shit up, man. You're a wife. Cover that up. Stop it. Stop acting crazy. That's how I say,
I mean,
because
I'm just
it
I
just
mean, and I get it, but I'm just saying, like, just do a TikTok every once in a while, show up, be Russ's wife, and call it a day. You know what I mean? What I was trying to say was, it's like the backlash of the men about she really didn't choose Russ over Future. It's not about that. Everybody's tastes and preferences change. This man loved her more, and I'm about to
obviously.
say something kind of controversial. Russ is the only black man in history of black men that I could think of in recent times that I could see it happening.
Yep. He clean cut. Russ clean as
No,
a
not
motherfucker.
even clean cut. I'm gonna just tell you, and since they want to talk about how clean cut he is and all the things and how much, and you say all the devices we have in the culture, I'm a drop to here. Russell actually broke up with a white woman and got with Sierra. Where do they do that at?
What's wrong? Yeah. He actually reverse hustled. He was
Yes.
like, he came back to the hood, which is
Yes.
insane.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep it a band. I wouldn't have looked back. Fuck that. Once I
Ooh.
leave the hood, I'm not turning back. But he said,
Ooh.
I'm turning back. So I'm giving him the game. I gotta make it sound good. I'm giving Russ the ultimate props. He turned away from the white chick. I never had a white chick either. I'm just saying. I gotta make it sound good. It's radio. I wouldn't have turned back to the hood after I made my $300 million bag. But we gotta give Russ the ultimate salute because he turned back to the hood.
Yeah.
He turned back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He came back.
Man. So she needs to put some respect on his name. So
Yeah,
that's
he left the golf. Look, he left the golf course and came back to the Jacks.
to the hood. Like, come on. So she gotta just do a better. I just say she better. You know what I'm saying? Like black celebrity couple wise, she gotta do a little better. I'm sorry to have a little 15-minute run on Russ and Sierra, but we're talking about it. You know,
I mean,
we
what
just
we
shopping.
you're talking about the state of the Black Union address, and these are things that happen because, like you said,
Yep,
since we idolize celebrities and we make them celebrity goals without knowing what their celebrity life actually looks like.
yep. Because we pair
Because
our lives
another,
with them a lot of
yeah,
times.
but we you can't compare our lives. We don't have their money. Just like
We sure
now,
can.
Jada is the worst wife this side of creation. You don't know nothing about them people's lives.
Yep, that's true
Listen,
too. We only know what they put on TV.
yes.
That's
So
all we
people say, I
know.
want a wife. I just don't want like Will Smith got. You don't know what they've done to get it and what they're doing to keep it. We only know what they show us. And yeah, some of the things they've shown us are very, very
Bad looks. Yeah, that's a
eyebrow
bad
raising.
look. Don't show us nothing crazy, and then people can't talk crazy about it.
But the thing is, if only people understood that that conversation probably happens in homes all across America. They just happen to go on TV on the red table with it. You understand? You know how many couples are struggling with infidelity on both sides of the fence and
Every
nobody
day,
talks about it? You know
all
what I'm
day,
saying?
every day. That's
But
everyday
because it's
people.
Will,
You
but
know,
because it's
all.
Will and Jada, but because it's Will and Jada,
Mhm.
you know how many dudes have vibrated somebody's fronts because of their woman, or they, how many women is out here fighting over penis?
For sure, for sure. It goes back. It goes both ways. How many
You know
cat
what I'm
fights?
saying?
How many
But
niggas
but
go
because Will
on
Smith did it at the
uh,
Oscars,
all of that for sure.
but but because Will Smith did it at the Oscars, is it any different than Joe and Rick getting into it at the car shop?
It kind of is because he
But
shouldn't
I,
have
but
been.
I, but
Get
I'm
at him
saying like,
backstage, man. Let that shit go down
but
backstage. Not up front, but enough is
but I,
enough.
but I'm
And
saying though, like I'm saying, but these problems are things that happen
everyday people.
every day.
Remember, celebrity is just somebody that has a higher paying job than you.
And they're
This
more
person
visible.
reads a script. He get in front of a camera. He does this. You fix a car. You fix cars. You don't get paid as much. But his problems, and it may not be financial, but everyday people have everything. Relationship struggles. We're everyday people, so I look at celebrity. You just got a higher paying job than me.
Yeah, they're
All
more
it is,
visible. They put they
regular
and
person.
their shit comes out in the light. But I'm like, with the shit that was going on with Jada and Will about the red table, and then when he smacked the shit out of Chris Rock, I mean, people deal with this shit every day.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm just saying that's everyday life, man. You know what I mean? So
Somebody's wife is getting tossed right now as we speak,
for sure,
and some man is checking her location.
exactly. And cheaters.com
You
has a
know what
video
I'm
camera
saying?
team outside the telly waiting for when she pulls out or when he pulls out, and then see.
Whatever.
So that's the
You know what I
game.
mean? It's happening as we speak. I mean, for real.
Right now. Not in their
Somebody,
face.
somebody somewhere is
Somebody's
going to.
getting, somebody's getting their face paint brushed for saying something bad about somebody's lady right now.
You know
Will
what I'm
Smith,
saying?
Chris Rock
Somebody's
style.
about
It's
to
all
go
good.
go get the strap for me. You know what I'm saying? Over some dump. You know what I mean?
For sure, man. And that's another thing. Let's address black on black
Oh,
gang violence. Let's talk about
you
speaking
said
of
what?
get the strap. Speaking of get the strap, let's brush over gang violence real quick. Black on black
Oh
gang
Lord.
violence. We're talking state of the black
Are we
union.
gonna talk about Takeoff real quick?
Not really. I kind of covered that early in the beginning when I started.
Oh,
I
okay.
kind of covered that early, so we'll brush back over it since you joined a few minutes late. But it was earlier on, right? I covered we call it gang extortion of artists
Mm-hmm.
community. Okay, so for example, there was an incident years back, and I'll just brush back over it. Uh, if you're a black rap artist, okay, and you're on tour, depending on who your affiliates are, when you go certain places, you have to quote unquote check in. So
Oh,
in
I
other
know all
words,
about that.
you have to pay a gang. Exactly. You remember what happened with Ross Rick back in the days?
I know. I was more thinking about what happened. What happened with Weezy when he came to Chicago. Ooh, wait.
Everybody. I'm just trying to say it happens with everybody,
Mhm.
quote unquote. But remember, they'll press the quote unquote gang, the black quote unquote gang will extort and attempt to, if you won't give me money, we'll kill you or we'll steal your jewelry or we'll rob you. But why don't they do that to Rick Springsteen? Why don't Bieber? When's the last time Justin fucking Bieber checked in? When's the last time name a white artist? Paul McCartney hasn't checked in his whole fucking life. but you bitch ass niggas are scared to pull up on him and try to get at him, but you'll get at your brother. That's what I'm getting at. That's kind of crazy
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
When's the last time
Crabs,
Led
it's so
Zeppelin
just crabs. It goes back to the whole crabs in a barrel.
when did Led Zeppelin check in with the local gang when they pulled up to the arena to do the concert? I'm trying to understand the concept of this crazy shit. Extort everybody or don't extort nobody because you're making it look crazy. If you're going to extort your brother, extort the mother folks too. Like what are we doing? I'm not promoting extortion, but I'm trying to understand how this works. Like Led Zeppelin hasn't checked in yet ever. And nobody pulled up on them. Nobody was outside. Nobody locked the gate with 100 people outside saying, "Hey man, we stopping your tour bus from coming in unless you check in with us." Like, what kind of crazy shit is that? So we retarded as a folk. That's insane. Extort. You should be doing it the opposite way. If anything,
Absolutely.
you should. I'm just saying, if you feel that way and you're so quote unquote gangster, like why don't you extort the people that because remember, most of those folks that are gangsters, their sympathy cases, like, hey man, the white man holding me back, so I had to join the gang, right? So since now you're a part of that gang, since you didn't have options because you were an oppressor, why don't you extort your oppressor instead of extorting the guy that looks just like you, that worked hard, that didn't have an excuse why he didn't make it? You understand what I'm saying? Extort the guys that have held you back, that made you have to join the gang. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I couldn't get a job because the white man held me back, so I joined the gang. Okay, so when your favorite artist comes in town, don't extort him. Extort the guy that oppressed you. Extort his people. I'm not promoting extortion, but I'm just trying to get some kind of logical thinking about this shit. Does that make sense what the fuck I just said? I'm just curious. Like, this is crazy. I don't know. Maybe that rant got her muted. I can't hear you, Star Child. Plug the mic back up. But we'll talk about gang violence. We're killing each other on the streets.
Can you
So
hear me now?
now I got. So let's talk about the extortion before we jump into the gang black on black violence. Does the
Can you hear me now?
extortion make any? I hear you clear. Sis. Does the
Yes,
extortion of
it makes perfect
the black
sense. What I was saying was it's a crab in a barrel mentality. It goes back to the whole, what did Jay say? House nigga, field nigga, light nigga, dark nigga, still nigga. You understand? It doesn't make any sense. It's just dumb.
dumb.
It's dumb.
Like extort. If the man is holding you back, extort him. You're not extorting. Any popular European, any white artist. When's the last time? What's that dude's name, man?
When was the last time Justin Bieber went to the strip club and got shot?
But didn't get his chain snatched.
You know what I'm saying? But but you don't hear of white artists doing regular shit and they end up dead.
You really don't. They don't even get robbed.
Exactly. That's my point. I said, when did Justin Bieber go to the strip club and get shot and killed outside of the strip club? That doesn't happen to them.
It doesn't happen. When did anybody even pull up and snatch? Did anybody even attempt to snatch his chain?
And no, and that motherfucker be high as ram pussy. No.
You know what I'm saying? This is insane to me. Like, why these white artists don't go through the same? Why do these?
They be fucked up. I mean, fucked up, like passed out, fucked up.
Yeah, like I could have got him. That was a lick.
Exactly. But nobody gets him. But nobody gets him.
Because that just shows that that's not really gangster. I mean, it's real because they are shooters, and I think your mentality, you really shooting at your own people, which is kind of crazy. So I'm just saying, like, say if I was the biggest rapper and I got to check in with everybody, I'd feel some kind of way. I say, hey man, look, I'm checking in. Here's your money. But make sure when Justin Bieber and them come into town tomorrow night, make sure them niggas check in too. And make sure they pay twice as much. Because they owe you reparations, but nobody ain't trying to hear that shit.
You know what I'm saying? That's crazy to me. But I only mention Takeoff only because I will say this as I am a mother. My son is the same age as Takeoff. So it hit me a little. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
It
all
it
hard.
it
That was crazy.
but to know that you know what I'm saying, it's like I have children that age. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Mhm.
I couldn't I don't want to, and I pray to God never. I just it's disgusting. It's tragic. It's on so many different levels.
Shit is crazy. And the same thing with the PMB. Like every month somebody gets shot. One of these guys get shot. So
But
we forgot about
these
the other
ain't
guy.
dudes
He didn't
who
check
like
in. You know.
it's like the Migos are not gangster ass niggas. They talk about girls and money, cars and clothes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
These ain't violent ass niggas.
yeah, but remember they didn't shoot themselves. It was
I
somebody.
know.
Yeah, exactly. It was some other people that were quote unquote
It's like
something else happened.
and out
Who
of
knows?
and also because, living in the Atlanta area before they were famous, I watched these youngins turn into the Migos. They weren't
Mhm.
he wasn't that. Even when they were blowing up, Takeoff was probably the most chill out the crew.
Quiet guy. Yes.
Very chill, very
Allegedly,
approachable, very quiet. Out of the
allegedly,
whole out of the crew, he was the most chill and laid back. Like you would if you didn't know who he was, you wouldn't know who he was. He was that dude.
exactly. Exactly. And like the laid back guy out the group. So like I say, and the reason why I started the show with the quote unquote check-in, I mean, there are a bunch of rumors going around. We'll never know what really happened ultimately. But if you look at IG
Mm.
live, a
Look
few
at him.
streams and a few things, possibly, possibly he didn't check in. Possibly, you see Quavo driving around with one of his security guys, Bando, and some members of I guess Mob Ties or some of Jay Prince or some of these, some street niggers that they supposed to check in with. But we didn't see
Did
the other
you
guy.
just call them street niggers? I'm so tired of you.
Yeah, street niggers. They
You said street niggers.
I didn't see the guy that the because remember they did check in. You got to check in, nigga. So if you didn't check in, so I didn't see him rolling around with the check in gang, and unfortunately he ended up getting shot. Maybe I don't know if the nigga checked in.
I am
Anybody?
sorry, Smoke. I'm trying to
Yeah,
keep my composure. You took me the fuck out
street
with the
niggers.
street niggers.
What else do you call it? Remember, we own the word. So when we say the word nigger, it doesn't really have the same effect. If you go somewhere, you like street niggas, like PNB Rock, for
Oh,
example, he's
my
in
stomach
somewhere eating
hurts
chicken and waffles. He's eating chicken
again.
and waffles. He didn't check in with the street niggas, so they came and got him. If he would have paid the money, if he would have quote unquote called them, "Hey man, I'm gonna be in town," so then you get to have a bunch of street niggers running around with you. That you gotta pay them, but then they come as security. You know what I'm saying? Like we good over here, but that's so is. I hate to say it, but that's what it.
Smoke,
I
I'm
mean,
sorry. I'm not laughing at
yeah,
PNB dying. I'm just like, you said a whole bunch of street niggers.
he didn't check in. I'm keeping it really seriously. Rest in peace to
I'm
that
sorry,
man.
and I'm trying to hold it, but the way you keep saying it, I'm sorry. It's not
That's
not
all it
what.
basically is. That's all it basically is, man. That's all it basically is.
But
And it's crazy.
it's not the topic. It's how you're delivering it is what
I
is
get it.
taking me the fuck out.
I get it. It's so off the tongue, but this is really what it is. You know what I'm
So you
saying?
said
So
a
it's
whole
like
bunch of street niggers.
it doesn't apply. It just pisses me off that it doesn't apply for the entire music industry. If
It
there's a
does
country
not.
western singer, say Charlie Chapman or whatever, just say who Kenny Rogers. Kenny Rogers don't gotta check in with the street niggas with Yo Gotti in
But what
them.
about okay?
And he's
What
going
about the?
down.
But what about the? So,
Niggas
but
don't
wait a minute.
they don't gotta
Wait a minute. But wait, hold up. But we
yeah.
don't hear about black female rappers having to check in.
Word. Maybe I don't know. Well, I guess well, I don't know. Maybe they don't gotta check in. Maybe they get a sister pass.
We don't hear about black female rappers getting their chain snatched and shit.
Yeah, that's true. So the ladies, we give the ladies a female pass. You get a buddy pass. The sisters rappers don't gotta check in.
Although
They
Drake
don't,
is
you know what? They don't got the street female all street gangs ain't that deep, I guess, because they could extort the female rappers too.
It
They
would
could
be
just,
easier to extort female rappers. They got more shit because they're girls.
but you know, these niggas, they don't want to look like total bitch ass niggas. They just want to. We'll just extort
But
the
they
men. 'Cause
already
if you
are.
sisters, yeah, they looking like bitch ass niggas for doing that. But I'm just saying, like, you don't gotta.
They are
They're
they
not
are
gonna go
so
that.
full of bitch assness. I only brought it up since we were talking about the State of the Black Union address. I
Of
figured we
course,
needed to talk
roll with it.
about that.
Let's roll with it for sure. Yeah, that's
I need
great.
to address. I need to circle back. I'm
Get
gonna
it.
use
Get it.
Tironi's.
Go.
I need Tironi's verbiage. I need to circle back
Let's
when
get
you
it.
were talking about we were talking about the emotional unintelligence of both men and black women and black men.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna bring this up right now. I know how you feel about personal divulgences, and I'm not gonna get very personal with the whole entire story. But I just want to just say this, since we're talking about the State of the Black Union address.
Go for it.
Fellas, this is my personal PSA to fellas. If you
Yeah.
know that you have been a fuck nigga dealing with a woman the whole time you've been dealing with her, to the point when I'm going to describe what I'm saying by a fuck nigga. If you haven't been consistent, if you have been wishy-washy, if you have not given any clear lines of communication, demarcation, as in you are my lady, you are my woman, we kicking it, all that good shit. You as a man have no right to impart any kind of emotional anything upon this woman when she decides to go ghost or she gets low on you. When you decide to pussy up and she decides she wants to go elsewhere into greener pastures, because what could make a man, and I will give you proof of receipts later, Smoke, in your personal inbox, would make you
Got you. Mhm.
would make you to the point, and this is when she's cut off all lines of communication to the point where you have to cash app her and talk to her in the notes in the cash app margin. That's how you know you've been cut the fuck off.
Woo-wee.
To the
Pay me if you want to holler at me, nigga. Go ahead. Mhm.
to the point, yeah, paying you to talk to me. You got to pay me to talk to me. Now you got to pay for my time. But this is not even paying for it. Now you done broke yourself down to sending a single ass dollar back and forth to have a
Yeah.
conversation because you've been cut off. Why would you get so upset to the point where you call said woman, you ungrateful bitch? Like this is where we at with it now, fellas. This is what we doing.
It's hard. It's hard to take an L.
But wait a minute, and it gets better, and then with the next dollar, you said, "I never should have fucked you," shaking my head. Now you want your dick back now too? Wow.
Hey, I ain't giving that coochie back, damn it. No backsies. That's insane. You be in their feelings though. I'm just saying.
Oh,
some dudes
and this
be in
is,
their feelings.
but wait a minute. This is after you ask for my presence at your home, but you're gonna be getting calls and texts from one of your roster.
Oh
What?
no, you ain't gonna do that. But see, yeah,
Exactly.
So you mad,
you
bro?
So now you mad, bruh?
you can't tell. Dip back into your roster and keep moving. It just look like look. Take this as I'm giving this to who the gentleman that conducted this type of behavior, sir. If you have a roster, just look at it as a trade. Look. We traded Star Child away. Okay, we're not
No,
gonna communicate.
I
It's not
walked
called
off.
tampering.
I walked
This is what I'm
away.
just saying. Yeah, I know you walked away, but I'm just saying that he has to look at it as in, hey man, I own the team. I have a roster. I'm coaching a team. She was on the team. She decided that she demanded a trade and she left. She quit. You
Yeah.
still got a roster. You got to manage your roster, take that L and keep moving. Because now once you start bothering her after, it becomes harassment and tampering. Looking at, I'm just using those terms in a sports
Yes.
world. So
Oh,
now
but wait a minute. But then he doubled down in the chat, in the Cash App chat. 4 hours later. 4 hours later is. Could you
4
please?
hours
Hours
later.
later. Now it's. Could you please just come over? What?
You did too much already. You could have said that first. That should have been the first message. Do you think somebody hustling backwards? Oh, wait. play it. You just miss yeah.
Oh, and then I wake up the next morning. He done
Yeah.
sent me more Cash App money at 4:57 a.m. Still calling me ungrateful.
Do me a favor. Do me a favor, Chachow. Get that nigga my Cash App. Tell him, yo, my Cash App changed. And let him just keep blessing the Cash App, and I just keep feeding them with a little, I don't know. I'll think about it. And that'll
This
just keep the
this
cash
is crazy.
flowing.
But who
You know what I mean?
4:57 a.m. You wake up angry at 4:57 a.m. about a chick that you miss. Look, you want to call him a coach? Your coaching and management skills are in the trash. Toilet water, dog. Toilet water.
Damn, man. Oh
Look,
man.
or as Kimmy would say, Willie. You can't control your bitch ass.
Oh man, Willie didn't jam that up. Random Rick Reviews is laughing out loud. That was kind of crazy.
I'm sorry, but I had to. But this is everyday life
It's
happening.
funny, but it's all love. Yeah, everyday. Hey, man.
And this is happening in the state of the Black Union, and this is one reason why dating is so hard for people, because this shit right here happens. This is a real life example of what happens and why dating is hard at 40 plus. You can't make it out here like this.
It's hard, man. It's hard out there because, look, that's why I say, shout out to Classic Jones in the building, OG. This is what I say, right? I say this. It's harder, the older you are in life, the harder it is to date because, okay, and this is why it's important, like to try to date when you're, to try to date when you're younger, whatever. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, so you're divorced, this, that, and the other, but like it gets harder because the people, when you're younger, you can grow together, but when you're older, everybody's set in their ways. Like I'm setting my ways, you're setting your ways. So we're meeting people that are set in their ways. Some people that don't have good dating etiquette. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the older it is, the harder
No
it is. because
emotional intelligence at all.
The tolerance, you know what it is? Because the tolerance is very low for fuckery. You understand what I'm saying? The tolerance. It's like, listen.
Who you talking to me? Oh, they called me Big Petty. I'm Big Petty over here, dog. Big
Shout out to
Petty.
Big Petty.
Big Petty.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Big Petty. We're gonna keep.
Thank you for that, Smoke. I appreciate that. Shout out to Big. They call me Big Petty. Yes, they do. Oh man,
and we have to. I'm just saying the more couples we have, the more couples we have, and I'm gonna say rest in peace to Godfather Kevin Samuels. I'm gonna quote him on this.
Oh
the more
Lord Jesus.
Listen, let me tell you, and he may have had been looked at controversially, but ultimately the guy was promoting marriage and couples, whether you like what he had to say or not. He wanted us together. You
with
understand?
his divorce twice, with his twice divorced deadbeat ass. Okay,
but that was his own personal story. But his story does not defy the black race as a whole.
No, it does not. It does not.
I've broken up with shorties before. Whatever, it is what it is. But
all right.
The message, right? Not the messenger. It's always the message, right?
Okay.
He may not have been married, but he was telling everybody else too. He said, "Man, the more black couples that are together, you got two people in an apartment or in a house paying together instead of a whole bunch of singles paying separately, making everybody else rich because we don't own our own shit."
You're absolutely right.
Saying? You understand what I'm saying? So if me and you were living together in an apartment, it's not me living separately in an apartment paying some other ethnic property owner.
We're a collective now.
Rents, we're a collective. And then as a collective, we can save money. And, we can try to build some kind of something for our family or whatever, or just, we're saving money in general. So that's kind of like, I give that man a lot of props for the concept of we need to have more black couples, no matter what the age range is. We need to have more black couples, and we shouldn't set our expectations super duper duper high, because as we get older, the odds are against us.
You better say it.
As becoming a couple, the odds are against us the older we get.
Oh, I know. So, I'm aware. I'm living it.
Yeah, I mean, and you looking good too, you know what I'm saying? So it's it's hard, but
Thank you,
you're not
Smoke.
gonna, you're not gonna settle for anything, you, Sister Kimmy, none of y'all, y'all sisters, y'all good, but y'all not gonna settle for anything, Roni, all of y'all. You know what I mean? You're not gonna settle for any old half-ass BS. But at the same
Absolutely
time,
not.
the dating market is shrinking all the time. You know what I'm saying? As far as productive men and dudes that are worthwhile any damn thing. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
so so stay open-minded in the game because we need more black couples. Stay open-minded. You know what I mean? But definitely don't fall for the okey doke. But stay open-minded.
Absolutely
Don't
not.
It's never over. Don't throw it, you know what I mean? Don't be like, it's a Rizzy. It's still
No,
go
I
right.
mean,
You know what I mean?
I have like a mustard seed, you know. Have you ever seen the Never Ending Story?
Nah, but tell me about it. Give us the
So
breakdown because I'm sure
basically, the
somebody
Never
else.
Ending Story, the Never Ending
Mhm.
Story is a classic story about a little boy. This when you talk about little boys don't read, even though he was Caucasian, he was a little boy who liked to read. His mama died anyway. He got sucked into the story because that's how invested in this book he was. It sucked him in the story, and he had to say he became the main character and had to save this whole world. Okay, so the world started getting destroyed, and at the end of the thing, the ruler of the world was a little girl, and he had to give her a new name. That's how he had to save the world. And she had this one little speck of light holding in her hand.
Really? Check
And
this
he
out.
gave her his mother's name, although we don't know what his mother's name was in the movie because he yelled it into the rain. But he was getting bullied, all this other stuff, even though he was Caucasian. It was what we were talking about. But she had this one little speck of light, and he had to wish on it. Okay,
Mm.
that's where my hope is. Okay, when it comes to this whole dating and male female shit, I got this one little speck of light.
But listen, you know what happens, to be honest? A lot of times when you when you're not looking is when you find. I'll leave it at that. I'm just saying. Sometimes
Okay, and you know what? Because you are successfully coupled, I will listen to you.
just for today, who knows what tomorrow will bring. You know, I'm just saying.
Well, quit
I'm
being an
just saying.
ass.
I'm not
I'm just
I'm just saying, for today, who knows what tomorrow might bring, but,
again
I'm
because
gonna
you are
keep my fingers
successfully
crossed. We're
coupled
gonna
and
keep
you've been doing your shit for a minute. I will and I like you as a person. I will listen to that and I will take that. And no, I haven't been looking for anything. I'm just saying I got this one little mustard seed of hope left.
I've been there. I've been there, and I wasn't looking, and bam, that's how it goes. Because 'cause I'm like, "Man, I'm done with this shit." Like, we all had the train wrecks. We all been through the train wrecks, you know what I'm saying? But the whole thing is ultimately we wanna make more unions between us brothers and sisters, ultimately. That's the end game. We want more unions so we can, do better for the future
Well, maybe
generation.
you need to do like a King Arthur and Knights of the Round Table for you and your brethren,
For
and you
sure,
could try to get them together. You know what I'm saying? Because
sure.
they suck. They
Yeah.
suck.
I'm just saying, let me throw this on the screen right here. Who listen, check it out. Don't be so quick to discount a person that's trying to have togetherness when they haven't been successful. You should listen where things went wrong so they know. Yeah, exactly. Like we've all had relationships that didn't work, you know what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
facts. And each time it's a learning experience as well. Whether you feel like whether it was your fault or the other person's fault or whatever. So people that feel like they took the short end of the relationship or it ended because of the other person's foolishness, like it kind of gets you like, man, I'm good. I'm done, man. And I'm not a relationship expert or nothing like that. I just got
Absolutely.
lucky. Like I say, I don't know how what life has to offer me in the future. But just generally speaking, just want more couples together. You know
Got
what I'm
you.
saying? We just want more couples together because we're trying to build our essence back. We're trying to get back the essence, man. Let's get off the flash and dash, even though it's so hard right now. You know what I'm saying? To get off the flash and dash, get off the social
Mhm.
media. We got to end the battle of the sexes because if we
Yeah, because
at
it's
each other's
very
neck,
adversarial. It's very
oh,
adversarial out here right now, and that makes it it makes you even more hesitant to even enter the fray because it's so adversarial.
mhm.
And and I see, I mean, of course, the internet. I see the internet getting more and more hostile.
Oh, every day.
And it's like, do I even want to entertain any of this? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's craziness. And then have conversations like, me and Kimi talk all the time. You and I kick it. But it's like we are now the minority. Do you know that us trying to be just regular schmegular normal people, we're the minority now.
Oh, for sure. Because everybody else is caught up in I call it the cloud. It's a cloud, to be honest.
So where are
It's a
my normies at? Where are the normals at? Where we
right
at?
here. Right here. Rocking the Sunday Night podcast, baby. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? That's where the regulars are at. You know what I'm saying? There's a few of us Gen X regulars left in the business. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for millennial or anything under that. But as far as we go, there's still a few of us out here. And we gotta reel it back in, man. You know, Gen X, the X is a reason. We're a special
Yeah.
generation. You understand what I'm saying? So we may hold the key to something. We may be the last of a dying breed as far
I
as
think
growing
I
up
think
with
I think
some
we're the
kind of
bridge. I think we're the
traditional.
bridge that I look at us sometimes as the bridge that's supposed to just pull all this shit back in order. We just have to figure out how to get it done.
Exactly, because we're the special generation. You know
Because
what I
we
mean?
could because
Very
we
blessed.
bridge both sides. We were raised by boomers and our kids are millennials. You understand?
Yep, exactly. So that's that's the bridge between both. And remember,
Mm-hmm.
we have to preserve tradition. Kind of like, I mean, I know times change and everything, but we have to try to preserve what little uh no little stuff, like the old school stuff, man, the passed
Mm-hmm.
down the grandma recipe book, all that stuff. And it may be a little late for some of us, but like, we need to try to preserve. The culture is hard. The internet, don't let the kids become, so super social media heads. Don't let your kids become Instagram worshipers and all that crazy, because it's hard. Like
It's
these
very
kids
hard.
grew up with all of this. Like social media to me is like I've heard this before and I agree. So social media is the mark of the beast to me. That is the chip, the microchip that's going to be put in everybody's hand. It doesn't have to physically be placed under your skin. It's in your hand, as in you're
Mm-hmm.
holding a handheld device with a
Yeah,
microchip in it.
absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying?
It can track your location. It can open doors. It pays for things now.
Everything.
You
So
can
it doesn't
control.
have to be
You can monitor your house with your phone now.
exactly. So exactly. So like the microchip and the mark of the beast doesn't physically have to be on your
No.
in your possession on a daily basis, and you're utilizing this as an everyday mean to survival in your everyday life. So I didn't mean to spin off and get too deep. That's a whole nother conversation.
It is.
But back to the state of the Black Union, we need more of us together. You know what I'm saying? We
Yeah,
got
we
to
have
try
to
to
get back to being a Black union.
get back to being a Black Union, man. We got to stop the battle of the sexes. Get off everybody. Get our feet off everybody's necks. We need to cooperate, man, because at the end of the day, all we have is us. And you be fooled if you wanna. You buy the Kool-Aid, you drink the Kool-Aid if you wanna.
What did
Well,
what did
actually, I like
what did they
Kool-Aid.
say what did they say in New Jack City, CMB? Am I my brother's keeper?
You better be, because
Hello.
ain't nobody keeping us. Ain't nobody keeping us. You heard? Who else
But that,
keeping us?
that was classic. He said, "Am I my brother's keeper?" Yes, I am.
You
CMB.
damn right. Mhm.
See,
Exactly.
you know, now.
Exactly. New Jack City, for those that don't know, step your movie game up. I'm just saying.
If you don't know what that's
Um
from, that means you're too young.
Exactly. And then history is important. So go back and do the history. You know what I'm saying? Go back and check
Mhm.
out stuff. There's a lot of messages and lessons to
Mhm.
be learned in some of these films. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
For sure, for sure. But on that note, we've been popping 2.5 jaunts. It's definitely been a good run. Everybody out there, please, watching the replay, please add your comments to the chat room. Like, share, subscribe. Sunday Night Smoke Podcast. Sister Star Child, would you like to give out your handle
My
just in
handle
case anybody wants
is
to check you out on social media if you want?
Starchild226 on IG. That's where I'm most active. I am also Starchild226 with 2 R's on TikTok. I'm not quite as active on TikTok, but I do have a little bit of a few things. But my IG is where you can find me most of the time. Pretty low key. Mostly reels and memes and stuff. Nothing major. But you all, people that know how to find me know how to find me. And if you don't, I'm sure you can come on the Smokes podcast and get at me. All is well.
Yeah. One love. Shout out to Star Child in the building. Also, shout out to Kimmy Kali Powers. I hear her in the background. Y'all rocking, representing the ladies of Sunday Night Smoke podcast, holding it down as usual. I like to say.
You heard that?
I heard for sure. We heard that. You know what I'm saying? One love. We'll catch y'all Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. You know how we do. Let's see.
Absolutely.
We run out of here with a couple of promos. Before I refresh them, we're going to run the old Jones one more time for the road. Let's make it hot.
No, thank you for coming on the panel, Smoke. I had fun with all of you. Thank you so much.
I don't know what happened, but look, that's on me. Smoke Sunday Night Smoke podcast. Go check my boy out. You know what I mean? For sure.
So has he said some things that are, borderline crappy or whatever, and then he backs it up with this is opinion radio? Yeah, he's done that.
Well, come on, Slam. No wonder why I blocked you. That's absolute insanity.
One love, y'all. Sunday Night Smoke podcast. Like, share, subscribe. Take it easy, sis. Have a good night.
You have a good night. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for joining us, sis.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Later.
That damn Smoke is hysterical.